big. She's grown so much. I said to Kay, she's massive. Have you seen her? Oh, look at her legs.
She's a big girl, yeah. You're a big
Yeah.
girl.
Hi, Rosa. We love you.
You should be in bed, but you're not. You naughty girl.
All right, we're
Say
live.
hello.
She looks way too alert.
Sure, man. I've been trying to get her to sleep for an hour.
Yeah, she
Hello.
looks way too alert to go to bed.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Rosa.
Hello.
Can she actually hear us if you guys on speakers?
Kind of. I've put the
Yeah.
headphones on loud. I can hear you.
Hello, Rosa.
Hello. Hi. Oh, ding.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Rosa.
Wow. Wow, what a zers.
Well, I'm sorry you're not feeling well, Chinny. I hope you feel better
Yeah,
soon.
I am. Blimey.
And also, just to top it off,
Well,
Tara's been at work all weekend as well. So I've had a.
Oof.
oh, you've been on your own, have you?
And she
wait a
didn't
minute.
sleep, did you, last night? So
Oh.
Donnie only had 1 hour sleep.
Oh, Rosa, you gotta sleep.
I know.
Especially when he's not feeling well, you gotta let him sleep.
She doesn't give a shit. Doesn't give a shit. I'm not
That's
feeling well.
right. That's all right. You'll soon get your revenge when you're like, wake up for school. Come on. I hear baby's very good for you if you. Hello.
Hello.
Rosa, you
wanna
been
see
rapping
some-
lately? Doing any funky lyrics?
Yeah. That's Rosa. That's
Rosa.
Eddie, and that's Duke. Can you say Duke? Duke.
I would rather
And
not.
that's Stu. Met
Have you
Stu.
seen this? By the way, I've got something to show you. Have you seen this? Millie did this when she was 5 years old. We found this when we was clearing out.
I
Aw.
hope she did it when she was 5, because she did it last week. It looked shit.
Yeah, she did it when she was 5 at Breakfast Club, and they did a whole book of Breakfast Clubs where kids did drawings and stuff.
Look. See, can
And
you
she wrote.
Antonio. Antonio.
Yeah, I'm showing him your thing
What is it?
from Breakfast Club. I love my family. They play with me.
Look, Millie. Show Millie. Look. Hey.
Oh, look at Rosa.
Hey. Hey. Hey.
It's huge.
Oh, look at Rosa. Oh, look at her. Oh. That is so cute.
She's
Hi,
super
Millie.
cute.
Wanted to make sure that I wasn't being embarrassed.
Yeah, of course you were.
Right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Right, are we ready to go?
Right. I'm bugging off.
I
Go on,
think
you
so.
bug
Let
off.
me do a quick adjustment of this. Transform, because I want to have it on the person speaking rather than all three of us. And I know Chinny's got some fancy way of doing things, but I'm not trying to deal with that.
No, I really don't.
Okay, well,
Just don't play any fucking videos that have fucking.
I won't. I've done pretty well with that lately.
Okay.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
What are you drinking, Antonio?
Lovely bit of summer fruits. Good sir.
Some fruits.
Okay.
Lovely.
Mm-hmm.
Okie doke. Bye.
In a bit.
Bye. Okay.
Everyone all right? How's everyone doing?
Yeah, I'm good. You?
Wonderful, mate. Wonderful.
Great.
I'm wearing this. I don't know if you, Duke, I don't know if you can.
Dignity. Oh, nice. Oh, let's see. You draw dignity then. It's a door. I got that on my shirt. It's a door. Use it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Beautiful.
You all right, Antonio?
Yeah, all good, man. I've got a lovely background, as you can see here. We have a lovely.
I'm liking it.
We have metal wire there. That was going to be a dog fence. There
Okay,
is
see, I can see that.
the constellation when me and my partner have had our first kiss, and a big
Aw.
Nice,
over there.
very nice.
What was
I
the
like
last
all
thing?
that stuff.
Oh, and a big plant. And a
Big
big
plant.
plant.
Big
big
plant.
plant.
Yes.
You
Very
can.
nice.
You can't do better than a big plant. That's what I always think.
Can you hear
That's a big
the
plant.
sound effects there?
Yes, fine.
Okay, good. So we're ready to start.
I am ready to start.
Okay.
Let's start the motherfucking show, bitch.
Here we go, baby. Here it comes.
Welcome yo to the veteran gamers. Juju, Ginny, and the fellas will tell you about every single game
And Antonio.
Kids Fight Big Freakville behind Shelbyville.
Time and Chinny's game breakers. Here comes Duke with soundbite saviors.
No one can climb a rope. It's physically impossible.
It's the veteran gamers.
We're not giving you money.
It's the veteran gamers. It's the veteran gamers.
Oh, won't somebody please pick up the children?
I guess you're right.
Check console off before you have to press repeat, yo.
Well, there are rocks. Thousands and thousands of rocks.
Hello and welcome to episode 784 of the Veteran Gamers Podcast.
Yeah, 784. What's up, people? I'm Duke.
I'm Stu.
And I'm the replacement for this week. Hi, everyone.
Yay,
Hello.
Antonio's in the building because Chinny's not feeling well.
I know. You know, normally at this point, I usually take the piss and say how much of a hypochondriac
Yes,
he
you do.
is, and like, oh, he's always ill.
He's
Chinny's
got
always
man
ill.
flu. He's got man
He's
flu.
not even bloody. But we've just seen him, haven't we? He set the stream going for us, and God, he looked well ill. I mean, he looked rough.
Yeah,
So I'm
he's
going
not
to let him
feeling
off.
great.
I'm actually
that's
going to
very nice
believe
of you.
him. For a change, I believe he's actually really ill.
Yeah. Oh, that's very good of you. I want to see if I'm actually going to show up on the view because it's not showing me. Why doesn't it show me?
Oh no, is he not
Multi-speaker.
showing you?
Ah,
Not showing you.
I'm trying to
Not
get this
showing me.
stupid thing to work right, but it's not showing me when I'm talking. So
Oh, it also
whatever.
doesn't like you.
There's got to be some tweaking thing.
Maybe.
Who knows? Who cares? Whatever.
Who cares? It doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
We don't
really
care.
matter.
It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
Okay. So Antonio, what's going on, man?
I got engaged. That's about it.
Yeah.
Woo! Congratulations. Where did you do it? Did you do the whole down on one knee stuff?
Yeah, well, I guess there is a somewhat story to it. I don't play the jingle; it's very short.
Okay.
She was playing D&D with a friend.
Story
time.
Sorry, I
That's
can't
awesome.
help it. Playing
Happy
D&D
laughing.
at midnight. Right. Got it. Okay.
Yes. So I thought I'd wait till midnight, which would have been the 7th, which would have been our anniversary, our 4th anniversary.
All right.
But she didn't finish till about 2 a.m. So
Oh
I just
goodness.
kind of kept loitering for 2 hours, waiting
Oh,
So
no.
this was full on like tabletop D&D, I'm guessing.
over the internet. But yes,
Oh, over the internet, right? But still.
By the time she gets done, you're just like, "Hey, what? Married? Yes or no?
For
Just come on,
fuck's
I want to go to
sake,
bed."
will you
Jesus.
marry me? I want to
Come
go
on.
to bed. I'm tired.
Wouldn't it have been a romantic gesture to like go in and be like, "I'm sorry, everybody, to interrupt, but
Yeah,
there's a
I'm just
big
gonna
event
interrupt.
happening.
Yeah,
I'm gonna roll a
what's going
20-sided
on?"
die. Oh, you want to get married?
I know her too well. No, I'd hate that personally.
Yeah, but haven't you seen Hollywood movies? That's the grand, beautiful gesture, man.
Yeah.
Didn't you watch
You could've-
Futurama?
You could have come up with some scenario for D&D to roll a dice for chance or something
No,
like
it's
that.
fine.
couldn't
If she wouldn't be into it, she wouldn't be into it. It's all good.
That's
Let's
better.
roll that die.
So
On the
she said
20,
yes.
I
Have
asked
you
you to
said a-
marry me. Haha.
Have you set a date?
No, when it happens, man.
Yeah. Word. All
Very
right. Well,
good.
congratulations.
By the way-
That's very exciting.
Can I just say, if you want a DJ, I know one who's really cheap. I know
Oh,
a
really?
cheap DJ.
Oh, you know Tietzo? Or do you know Fatboy
indeed,
Slim?
Yeah, he's very cheap.
Oh, nice. I
Very
didn't realize
cheap.
Fatboy. Have you seen that
Apparently-
video with him in the elevator? That's bonkers.
No, I haven't. But apparently, I've heard he does it for 10 quid, 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisp, and maybe a
Wow.
pack of fags, and then
Oh my
he's
goodness.
sorted.
I wouldn't
He's very
think he'd-
cheap.
I wouldn't imagine he'd be smoking. He's always jumping around, doing
I know.
stuff.
Well, you think he's healthy, but he's not.
Goes to
you
show
know.
you. You never
Yeah,
can
just goes
tell.
to show you.
Yeah.
Just
Never
goes to
can.
show you.
Right.
So there you go.
Stu, do you have a story? I don't have any stories this week, I don't think.
I'm trying to think if I do. I don't think so.
All right. Well, that was the
Hello,
shortest
hello.
story time
There
ever.
you go. Nothing's happened.
Let's
Post
get to
Christmas.
some.
Fuck all happens
Where are
after
you
Christmas,
going?
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
Story time's
well.
over, isn't it?
What have you been playing?
What you been playing? What you been playing?
Anyway, yeah. As Antonio's a guest, I think we should start with Antonio because
I think we should definitely
For a while.
should.
So what's Antonio been playing
What have
since
you
we
been
last
playing,
spoke?
Antonio?
What have you been playing, Antonio?
Well, you kind of saved me a bit of effort because I was going to write an email in taking part in the Game of the Year thing.
Ah, you
Oh,
see.
sweet. So we got to get your
Oh, here we
5
go.
fun categories and your 5 games of the, or do you want to just go to the top 3?
Have you got some fun categories?
I've got 2 technically. They're
Oh,
not
oh,
fun.
okay.
They would have been games I would have probably liked if I played them, and biggest letdown. That's about
Nice.
Oh, let's do those.
Yeah. What's
Okay,
your
fine.
game you would like to have played if you could have played it? Should we
And
guess?
didn't.
Indiana
it.
Jones?
Okay, hold on. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 until that I could think of that I saw at a conference or saw on Steam.
Oh,
That would
I
be
gotcha.
cool if I had time to play it.
Yeah,
Wow,
sure.
there's quite a few of these then.
Yeah, I love games, man. I love them, but time, as we all know.
Time, as we all know,
we all
we're all
know.
time poor. We're all time poor.
Take it
Um,
away, the moments
think
that make
is-
up a dull day.
Let me guess. Is one of these the I don't know what it's called now? The one made by the people who made the Quarry, but it's based on fucking Until Dawn or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, no. I
Oh.
found ever since they made that and the VR spin-offs, they kind of been almost like a one-trick pony. I haven't enjoyed any of their games apart from
Oh,
the VR
snap.
shooters. We're talking about Supermassive games since Until Dawn. I think Until Dawn really was like a flash in the pan. Like part of the appeal for me was that it was a B movie horror style game. You know what I mean?
To be fair, I think most of the games are okay.
I
They're
might
not
be
like
boring. I haven't played it.
yeah, they're not like crazy. Oh, this is amazing, but they're all right. They're all
That's
right.
fine. That's fair. If you enter our expectations, then hell yeah, I entered Until Dawn, following it for years of its development because it was originally a PS Move game before they came to their senses and changed that. Should I just say the entire list, and if any of them sound cool, just comment.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, okay, go.
Sliverhead, which is one of the original developers of Silent Hill 1.
Oh,
I've
wow.
downloaded the demo for that, but I haven't played it yet.
Okay, cool. Batman Arkham Shadow, because when I went to Gamescom, I was press at Gamescom.
Ooh.
You had to like book in the meta area to
Oh,
play
wow.
Batman Arkham Shadow, and it was booked. Like apparently from day one, it was booked the entire weekend because
Huh.
it looks amazing. Like I expected it to be arse, but every review I've ever watched or read says Batman Arkham Shadow is the best Batman game we've had since Night.
Huh.
I didn't even know there was another Batman game out. That's how out of touch I am with that.
I didn't know until I arrived at Gamescom and saw an ad for it. But yeah, it's made by the team that made the Iron Man VR game, which is pretty good.
So is it VR?
Oh.
Is it VR?
It is, and I watched some gameplay because I thought, how do you implement Arkham into VR? Really well, apparently. Really, really well from what I've seen. But sadly, it's a Meta-free exclusive, and I ain't buying that. So, nope, I ain't doing that. Stalker 2. I love Stalker Shadows of Chernobyl, but I haven't had the time to play it yet. Penny's Big Breakaway. It's a platformer by the guys who made Sonic Mania. Balatro. I bought 3 copies for people. Haven't played it or
Wow.
bought it yet myself.
Wow, that's
How do you know
crazy.
it's worth buying for other people then if you haven't played it your damn self?
I know my friends very well. Prince
You're
of
so
Persia: The
nice.
Lost Crown. That looks pretty damn good. It's like a Metroidvania game. Sadly, apparently, it hasn't done very well, and that team got majorly torn apart after this game release. 'Cause it didn't sell
Oh,
well.
snap.
Maybe if they had one more sale, and that sale being me, they could have stayed alive.
Could be.
Who knows?
Could be.
But it looks very good. Very good.
Well, all right. So those are the games Antonio would have played if he'd had time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Boom.
Okay, biggest
Well, hopefully you'll
letdown.
play
Then.
them
What's your
soon.
biggest letdown?
Biggest letdown.
Yeah, let's
South
hear
Park
that.
Snow Day.
Which
Oh,
one?
I've heard bad things.
What game?
South Park Snow Day. So
Oh, really?
It is a 4-player co-op kind of battle arena game based in the
Okay.
South Park world. What kind of hurts most about this is it is a continuation of the other 2 South Park games' story. And the in-universe lore is quite funny. Basically, if you haven't played it, people think your third-person, like, boring action game. That is what it is. In canon, they have changed the rules of the game because you as the new kid got too strong, which is very funny. And it starts out good. Like, it starts out with original animation and stuff.
Yeah.
But the combat is very boring, and it really, really relies on the fact that you want to play with friends. And I'm not a big fan of that. If a game isn't good by yourself, I'm not going to enjoy it anymore with friends. That's just how I play these kind of games, you know?
Right.
I played it for about 4 hours. Luckily, I got it for free. It's not good, man, in the slightest. It is so boring. It's got South Park charm to it, and it does have moments where I go, like, I smiled or thought, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
But the root of it is just so boring. It's just so boring. And there's nothing worse than a boring game, especially
Well,
from
yeah.
a franchise you love.
Yeah, totally.
There you go.
Is the humor decent?
Yeah, well, that was the high points, really. The humor is good.
Yeah.
Like, there were moments where I smiled or did a good laugh, but
Yeah, right. But it didn't make up for the bad gameplay. Yeah, it looks like it's like action combat, but like it's hard to do action combat right, I think, especially for like a goofy game.
very goofy game at that.
I think it was a good idea that they did the turn-based combat for the other games.
Well, definitely, yeah. I really think so too. Because I'm sure if you're watching the gameplay right now, it looks very boring. You got 2 main attacks and that's it.
It's
the
slow
flexibility-
as well. It looks so
Oh,
slow.
It's very slow. There is a sprint, but you can't attack when you
It
sprint.
looks painful.
Very methodical. It's got moments of joy, like I said, like fighting Kenny or Stan as boss fights. But even then, the boss fights aren't very creative at all.
Yeah.
It's just really bland, which is really sad to say.
Who
weird.
is this? The same developer as the other two games?
No, THQ licensed it out to another team.
Oh, you can tell.
Yeah, what you gonna do?
I mean, aesthetically, it looks good.
Yeah, and it's 3D. If you're not watching the gameplay, people, it is 3D, which is new, I guess. Like we haven't had 3D South Park since like the PS1 era, I think.
But do you know why? Because it didn't work.
I agree. In this case, it did not work. But yeah, most disappointing game for me, and I played quite a few this year. Didn't like it.
Not good. It doesn't look good. I'm
I
glad
was
didn't
I was
play
trying
it.
to look up the company that made it, and it's like Question apparently, but there's no Wikipedia page for Question, so there's no way to find out what else they've made. I guess
I
they
think
haven't
when
made
I
anything.
Steam, they hadn't made anything else, or
Yeah.
they made one game.
Right. Just curious.
Just out of interest, Antonio, I don't know whether it's your microphone settings or something to do with, but every time we talk, you go all squiggly.
Really?
Yeah, so I don't know what's.
I'm not
causing
hearing that, but I mean, I take Stu's word.
Oh well, maybe your recording's fine then in that case. But every time I say something, and Antonio just clips a little bit.
Yeah, I would turn your mic up if you could, because you're a little quiet on my end. But other than that, you're fine for me.
Cool, there you go. I'm loud enough.
right.
Should be.
Yeah, you definitely are.
Okay, so South Park Snow Day. Anything else to say about that?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell
It
no.
looks like
Hell no.
the same company made the Blackout Club. I remember they were advertising that on TV. I remember seeing TV ads for the Blackout Club, but it
that
didn't look
rings
like
a
a
bell.
very good game. I don't know. And they
Didn't
made
think
something
of-
called the Magic Circle.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like they've got a good pedigree to me.
Nope.
Sounds like they're a little bit
No,
unknown developer. Here, do
Yeah.
this, and they did it a bit shit.
I guess
Kinda
so.
sounds to me. Yeah.
Yeah. So, should we do one of Antonio's game of the year, or we want to move on to Stu?
No, let's move on, and then we'll come back to those as we're
Okay.
going along, and he can do those as
Okay.
what he's played, I guess.
Sounds good. Stu, what do you got?
I've been playing a ton of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle.
Oh yeah.
Spoilers, that's one of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I'm really enjoying this. I'm well into the Egypt bit. So I'm in Egypt at the moment at the Great Pyramids. And I've been enjoying just sneaking around and doing stuff. It's not, I'll be honest, I was a bit like, ooh, because a lot of the reviewers were saying like, oh, it's a bit boring and there's a lot of busy work and you go and do all this stuff and it's not worth doing and it takes ages and there's a lot of messing around. And there's a little bit of that. I mean, it's not completely out there, but I'm just ignoring all the side stuff. So I'm just fully concentrating on the main story quest. And every time I get given a side thing, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to bother. I mean, there was a bit of a collect quest. I had to go to all these different places on the map to pick up these tablets with stuff on and then bring them back to the main woman. And then she's like, right, now you got to sneak into the German compound and raise the flag. And when you do that, I'll cause a distraction and you can get this thing for me or whatever. So I'm in the midst of that now. So I've sort of done all the sort of opening bit of the pyramid stuff, and it's huge. I mean, it's a big open area, and there's lots of stuff to explore. And there's lots of little tombs and secrets and stuff. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
And some of the tombs are really good. There's lots of little puzzles to do along the way. Lots of little secret areas, stuff to sort of work out and locate.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the puzzles are pretty well designed. I mean, so far I've not found them like overly challenging as such, but like, you know, a lot like Uncharted puzzles, very similar type of thing.
It looks like
Yeah,
there's a
so
lot
it's-
of like first person. This person's like using the rope or the whip to swing on hooks and stuff. Is that first person platforming not a pain in the ass? Because it tends to be. in
No,
general.
do you know
Okay.
what? It works sort of
All
fine. I think the whip helps that because when you go into whip mode, it's in third person.
Yeah. Okay.
So that sort of it sort of compensates for that by doing that. Most of the first person platforming is fairly like next to you, if
Yeah.
that makes any
I was
sort
going
of
to say
sense.
it's all very basic. The only time I
Yeah.
ever get a bit when I'm doing the platform is to hang off a ledge. You walk backwards off the ledge.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
most of it's sort of just jumping up things. So you kind of walk up to something and you climb up it. You're very rarely having to do really precise
Okay.
jumping from one platform to another.
That's good.
Yeah, most of it's fairly straightforward stuff. And most of the stuff that you do with the puzzles is fairly straightforward as well. You know what I mean? There was a bit where I had to get a tablet and you go in and there's a wall in the way, but then when you at the entrance to the tomb, there's like just sledgehammers on the floor. You just pick one of them up and whack it, job done. So there's never anything too taxing, really.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. The story's good. Obviously the voice acting's really good.
Mm-hmm.
The Germans are Germans, lots of Nazis.
Yeah.
So they're a bit of a pain in the ass.
Of course.
Yeah, but I've enjoyed all the tomb stuff. So like the tomb, I very rarely you have a gun. I've never used it because the minute you shoot a gun, there's like 4 or 5 or 6 enemies come.
Yeah.
Because obviously they hear the gunshot go off, and it's almost not worth even attempting. So yeah, never used a gun.
Yeah.
I like the way the map works. That's kind of interesting. So, we normally with a map, you've got like a little mini map on screen that gives you where your objective is, where you need to go to next.
Right.
Not in this game. So in this game, it only shows up when you're actually holding the map in your hands.
Yeah.
So when you hold the map in your hands, you'll get a marker like show up floating somewhere on the map to tell you which, where you need to go next. So, and that usually works quite well. And as you get close enough to it, it disappears. So, you when you get close, so it doesn't give the exact location,
Right.
but it takes you close enough that, you've got an idea where it's in or what vicinity it's in.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So that's pretty good. And graphically, it looks great. I mean, there's not a lot of negatives at this point to say about this game.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I'm going to get a bit bored of the pacing towards the end, if it's going to get a bit slower or whatever.
Antonio,
We'll
where are
see.
you? You said you've been playing this. Where are you in this game?
Egypt too. Egypt.
Oh,
too.
you're also in Egypt. Okay.
So have you got to the sneak to get the flag down bit yet?
Literally started loaded up Egypt. Then.
Yep. Oh, so you're literally just in Egypt.
Yeah. The main takeaways I've found is just that you can tell when a game has had a lot of money into quality control and play testing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And this is I haven't noticed anything so far that is maybe think this has not been play tested. This
No,
has
there's no. I've not had a single.
It's almost like you
glitch.
can't tell it's a Bethesda game.
No, well, it's not.
I
That's
mean, it's
the thing.
ZeniMax, I guess.
Yeah. It's not. It's Machine Games.
Mm.
Who made this? So, but Bethesda are just the publishers, so they're just publishing it.
Word. Yeah, but you think they'd be like, hey, look, we have a brand identity here, and it has to do with glitches and
Yeah.
weird
Yeah,
shit
it's gonna be
happening.
broken,
You're
at
making
least.
us look bad.
Yeah, it's gonna be broken. No, there's none of that. It's pretty smooth. I've not noticed anything.
I like how on the
Nothing at
subtitles
all.
it says when the dude's like, "Come on," and you're fighting him. It says Nazi. Come on. It's your billing as you're a Nazi. It's just Nazi.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're just Nazis.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them.
You know, those Nazis had names, all right? His name was Frederick Hitler. He was Adolf's brother.
I hate the captains, by the
Is
way.
that a
They're
bottle brush
nightmare.
he's holding?
Oh, he uses all sorts of stuff.
You can't knock
So
someone
he-
out with a bottle brush. Come on.
Of course you can, man.
No,
if you
you
hit them hard enough.
cannot.
If you hit them hard enough.
If you've got enough crusted shit on there.
No, to be fair,
like a toilet
it's got a metal end on it, so it'll be heavy. It'll be pretty heavy.
Guess. I don't know.
But yeah, the some of the weapons are hilarious. Some of the stuff you pick up to use as weapons, there's all sorts of crazy stuff.
It's toilet brush by the look of it.
Yeah, you can use pretty much anything. So yeah, it's pretty good. But it's good, and there's like I say, there's plenty to explore. I found it fine so far. I will report back the more I play it.
All right,
So there you
cool.
go. That's
There
it.
you go. That's it. Okay,
it.
well, I got to do this, moving stuff and renaming stuff and getting stuff. All right, I've been playing a game called Dungeons of Dreadrock.
What?
I know, right? I did some search for like best games of 2025 or 2024, and or there was
I was
maybe
going to say there's not been long in 2025.
no, all the best games for the last week. But yeah, so but there was this thing that was like the most surprisingly good games, and apparently the sequel for this just came out, and I looked at in the original on this summer sale was like $2 or something. So I was like, all right, I'll play this for $2. This is a puzzle dungeon crawler, which is kind of a weird concept, but it is. The story is that you're told to wait outside. Your sister goes into, or your brother goes into the dungeon as a sacrifice or something, and then you hear screaming, and so you're supposed to wait out front, but you don't. And so you go in and you have to try to find your brother. And there's like 100 levels. And each one of them is, it's like a grid. And it's all about like moving around in the grid. And like, you know, you have to stand on a plate. And then that opens the gate. But then as soon as you leave the plate, I'm describing the scene we're looking at right now. Like there's... it's like a puzzle. As soon as you leave the plate, it closes the gate again. So you have to figure out how am I going to be standing on the gate while also getting the other gate to open and all this stuff. So it's kind of hard to describe. But you have this like portal thing. So eventually, what you'll see him do is throw a rock through the portal while he runs and moves onto the platform that he needs to stand on. If that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
So
where do you get a rock from?
Well, they're all over the place. Like I think on the right side of the screen, there might be a pile of rocks.
Okay, they look like little stones.
Yeah, exactly. So they're like pebbles.
Right.
And basically when you throw them, they go as far as they can. Like they just go until a wall stops them. So, you know. And that's the thing is that like, you know, you've got, you picked up some loose bricks or something. So, you know, you've got stuff to fight with, and you have a sword, but most of the monsters you don't really want to do battle with because you're going to get stomped. There's this big dude who follows you around at certain points, and you know it becomes a matter of like tricking him to fall into the lava or whatever it is. Yeah, so it's interesting. It's one of these games. It's more a puzzle game than it is an RPG. Like you're not there. You go. He just figured it out there. So you see the rock went through the portal, and then he's going to go stand on the thing because now the stone is on the other pressure plate. Now he gets out. So
right,
gameplay we're seeing looks like classic Zelda.
Yeah, that's the thing is it does have kind of the feel of that. He kind of looks like Link a little bit. You know, it's interesting. It's one of these games that I'll start it up, I'll play a level. It'll take a while to figure it out. When I get done with a level, I'll be like, okay, I'm done with this for now, and I always want to leave on a high note, you know. So there's that big old dude coming to get you, and he's probably going to get killed because it's hard to figure out like what exactly you want to do. Yeah,
I kind of like the look of this. I must admit, I like the in between bits as well. You know that it's not all just this puzzle area. You know,
he got the big dude in one. Man, there's egg on my face. So anyway, yeah, it's interesting. It's got a good style to it. It's nice and simple, but it's not a bad. No, he got stumped. I don't remember how exactly you're supposed to do that, but so anyway, yeah, I guess you can go through that area with the spikes when they're up. So, yeah, it's a cute little puzzle game. You know, very cheap, and yeah, I'm having a good time with it. Dungeons of Dreadrock. There's really not much to say about it.
Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good.
Do you just go on Steam and think what could be cool?
No, this one showed up through some. There was a news story that said like the hidden gems of 2024, and they're like, you never heard of these games, and I tend to look at those because a lot of times I'll be honest, I'm looking for a game that I know is I want to see it say Once Human. People should play that, you know, like the games that I know and love. It's like when they talk about like the best albums of the year. I'm always like, ooh, is that one album I listened to from a somewhat popular group?
Yeah,
you know, featured here.
What was the best album of the year? People actually.
It would probably be Kendrick's GTX.
Really, fair play.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't listened to a lot of albums that came out this year, so I'm not the one to ask. But you know, whatever. All right, Antonio, you going to talk about a different game? You going to talk about one of your games of the year? Where are we going?
Well, I'll just for my games since I've been on so long, I'll just go through my games of the year. But you mentioned
so number
five,
and beaten, but I noticed for games that came out the past year, I haven't played last year. I haven't played that many. I
Yeah.
normally go a year behind. I do the same with films.
Mhm.
So I like once it's all out on streaming for for films, I watch them then. But yeah, Indiana Jones, I think it will still be in my top 5 because consistently it's just good. Machine Games, they are the masters of semi-open world sandboxes. So Wolfenstein is like that, and Indiana Jones is just that to the next level, in my opinion. It is dumbed down a little bit though. I think it's so that you're never bored, in my opinion. Like I've never been bored the entire time I've been playing this game.
Mm.
It's just well, I guess it almost wants to keep the pace of like an Indiana Jones film, keep it going. For example, I noticed a little thing that just helps save a few seconds every time you're traveling around the Vatican City, for example. The signposts that help you fast travel. You're only saving like 10, 15 seconds max.
Yeah.
But you feel like you're always in control. You're never wasting time. You're always moving towards the objective you want to do. And unlike used to, I am doing the side things. And I kind of like know if I'm going to be on the right track for a good one or bad one because it has a cutscene.
Oh,
Okay.
Because I did like a side thing where all I did was rescue a boy that was trapped, by a fascist. You get nothing for it apart from those points where you can upgrade yourself. But it was quite satisfying because it did have a beginning, middle, and end with actual cutscenes.
I do. I must admit, I'm quite enjoying taking the photographs,
Yeah, that's a really nice touch.
and I quite like some of the comments, especially if you take one of a person,
Mhm.
and they're just like, "Oh, you just want a photograph of me, do you?" Then, you know, or they make some snarky comment, or sometimes they say something funny when you take it, and I quite like that. So I'm quite liking taking photos.
I will say, the game is missing a photo mode, in my opinion. Unless I'm wrong, I can't see an actual photo.
Yeah, no, I
mode.
don't think there is like a real photo mode, like where you can just take pictures of the environment, etc.
Exactly. Like you make a beautiful game, it's almost like you need a photo mode, in my opinion, because people want to show off. You know,
Yeah.
here's this cool looking thing or beautiful looking thing.
Free
Yeah,
advertising,
number 5
man.
is Indiana Jones for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Do we want to go back to Stu, or do you want to do another one of your favorites of the year?
I'll go back to Stu. Round robin it.
Go
Can I
ahead,
just say,
Stu.
by the way, Mr. Nightlaw, I'm guessing is probably around about my age, you know, and I'm just this is a pure guess because of his name. Because Nightlaw is a Sinclair Spectrum game from back in the day. So
Well,
I'm
alright.
assuming that's where his username comes from. I could be wrong.
Let us know,
I
Night
could,
Lord.
I could be totally wrong.
Eh.
Okay, so other game I've been playing a shit ton of this week. I'm back on it. I had a little bit of a break, but I'm back on Pentiment.
Oh.
Okay.
Because I was really enjoying it, you know what I mean? But I'd sort of I thought I'd finished it. I was like, oh yeah, I've finished it now, and I hadn't finished it. I was nowhere near finished it. But yeah, I'm back, and it's the second chapter is set 7 years after I fucked up my murder investigation and sent an innocent man to have his head lopped off, which didn't work out particularly well. I know. I was upset. I did feel a bit guilty.
Yeah.
For,
You were racked with guilt.
I felt awful because, you know, I know for a fact he didn't do it.
I didn't do it.
That he didn't do it. Yeah. And he was called Lucky as a character. So he was
I
probably
guess
the
not
most
that lucky.
unlucky of, we're that lucky because he got his head lopped off.
Yeah.
But what's kind of cool is when you go, everything you did in that first chapter, you go back 7 years later and everybody remembers.
Well, yeah.
Everyone. They're all like,
You should do like on The
"Oh."
Walking Dead. It'd be like everyone's going to remember that.
Yeah, they do, but they genuinely do. They're like, oh yeah, I remember you sent Lucky to his death.
What's up there, murderer?
Yeah, exactly. And then the nun that I had a bit of argy-bargy with in the library, you know what I mean? Had a bit of, woohoo.
How's your father?
You meet up with her again because they're selling off all the books. So the scriptorium where you worked in the first chapter is gone now.
Uh-huh.
They've got rid of that shit because no one wants illustrated books anymore, apparently, or fancy books. So that's gone. And they're disbanding the library, so they're getting rid of all the books in the library.
Oh, just like in the U.S. with the Mothers for Liberty.
Like in the US, like in the US. So they say, like, oh, there's if you want some books, they're selling all the books off in the library. You want to go and have a look if there's anything you're interested in. So off I go to the library.
Ooh, book sale.
And the nun who I had a bit of whoo-hoo in the books in the library with was there.
Oh,
and you can allude to it. So you can say to her, like, oh, I remember what happened last time. Do you fancy finishing it?
Hey,
so,
baby.
I know, yeah. You want to carry on where we left off?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I'm a changed woman now.
Oh,
but then
now you're too good
what's-
for me, which you stuck up.
What's interesting is though, you get all of the backstory.
Okay.
And it turns out she comes from this village and no one wanted to marry her and they couldn't get rid of her and all this sort of stuff. So, and then the dad gave like a donation to the church and his daughter. So, so he's like, literally, she's there under duress. She didn't want to be a nun. She never wanted to be a nun.
Oh,
But
man.
because of what her dad did, she's kind of got to just crack on with it. You know what I mean?
guess
It's like,
so.
well, off you go.
Ah,
So there you go. So it's really good. This game is so good. It's so interesting, and I just love the characters, and I love where it's going, and I love how everyone interacts with everyone, and how.
so what is it
everything-
you're supposed to be doing now? Before it was about solving a murder.
Well, that's still there. That's still
Okay.
autumn on the back boiler because whilst I was buying books in the library, I came across a page from a book written by who we think is the murderer because he, in the first chapter of the game, he sends notes to everyone to rile them up.
Yeah.
And that's where you kind of get your suspects for the murder from.
Ah.
So part of me is now like, can you solve the murder in the first part of the game, or is it part of the game that you have to get to chapter 2 to start continuing your investigation sort of thing?
Right.
So I don't know. It's kind of a life simulator.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of a like, stuff just goes on, and regardless, and the decisions you make during the game have implications for all the characters within the game.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, how much do you think you have actually altered the story at all?
Oh, big time! I think because it's obviously the interactions with the nun that you don't have to do that, and you've got to have. I'm just gonna just say, dude, your typing's very loud.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I got you.
Yeah, you don't have to do that, so you don't have to interact with it. And also, I had a trait where I was a bit of a party animal back in the day. Who was always drinking and frivolity and. Yeah, doing stuff I shouldn't have been doing. So I had options that other players wouldn't have had unless they'd chosen that trait, if you know what I mean. What's also interesting, and I didn't realize what these were at first, but I think you've got like this character conscience, this like as part of the thing. So every now and again, you'll get like what looks like a thought bubble underneath your options for what you can say.
Right.
And I just thought that was a bit of this is what you're kind of thinking, and this is just a snippet of what that is. But if you click on it, you have this whole interaction with what feels like your conscience. And it's this woman, and she's like saying, "Oh, I think you should do this," and you're like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." So it's almost like a hints thing, I suppose, in a way.
All right.
But it's so honestly, this game is so interesting on so many levels. Yeah. I'm just completely intrigued as to what's going to happen now. And I'm like, so am I going to find out who the murderer is once and for all? Am I going to be, I'm actually going to solve that now? I don't really know. And I've got a little lad with me now who's my apprentice, and he's from Salzburg. So I picked him up in Salzburg, and he's come along, and now I'm teaching him how to be a scribe and all this stuff. And I think what's kind of interesting, you're a bit disillusioned with it all. So you're like this scribe who's getting paid loads of money to do these illustrations for people and paintings, but then like the people who live in this town are really under duress from the abbot, who's increasing taxes all the time, and the baron in the next place is taking money off him, and the guy who owns the mill is charging more and more for flour and grain and stuff. And you're complaining that you don't like working for these rich like socialites in wherever, and getting paid loads of money for doing these paintings that you're not particularly that excited about. And and he sort of says at one point, like, puts it all into perspective, like, oh God, I shouldn't really be complaining about this, should I, when these people are, barely able to live. And there's this whole thing where you go and break bread with them, go and sit and have dinner, and they give you the bread they've got, but don't eat any themselves because they want to treat the
that's
guests.
fishy.
Yeah, but don't want, they can't afford to have the bread as well because they only have so much bread. So
or there's something in the bread, they don't want to eat it.
No, there's none of that stuff.
I don't know.
But again, it's another thing that just makes you feel a bit guilty that you're eating bread and the
whatever. Get out of my way. Give me my bread.
Exactly. The little apprentice
guilty.
guy's like, oh, I shouldn't be eating this because you haven't got any, and you're giving it to us. So he tries to give it back and then gets shouted at by the the master of the house, because he's like, well, I don't want people in this town thinking I can't provide for guests when they come to eat at my table,
Yeah, but
so
you
he's
can't.
really insulted.
You're bum.
But he's really insulted because you try and give him the bread back.
Good. Should be
But it's
insulted.
good. It's really, really good. There's so many little things going on. I love it.
Cool.
The game looks creative as hell, but like,
Oh,
what is
it's
the actual
brilliant.
gameplay? Is it
It
just is it a walk and talk kind of game? Any puzzles to it? Like,
Not really puzzles. There are some very, very basic ones. But it's really all more about the interactions with the people who live there and your decisions on what happens as a result of what you do. So it's really more about all that stuff. And I think
how
it can be.
people try this for, because I'm watching this and it is the anti-me game. So how long would you say I should give it a try before you say fair enough, you tried it?
I would give it at least a good couple of hours. Because there's not a lot happens at the very beginning of the game. It takes a while to really get going, I suppose. But I love it. I love everything about it. The art style, the writing, the story, everything is really, really good.
I've heard nothing but good things, man. Even from people that don't like these kind of games, I've heard nothing but good things.
It's an RPG, but it's a very weird RPG.
Okay.
It is an RPG, but it's very odd. So there you go. Pentiment.
There you go.
Good to know.
All right. Anything else about Pentiment?
Nope.
Okay.
That's it. Done.
Well, I got I think I talked a little bit about this on Game of the Year, but I'm going to talk about it some more. Once Human, Way of Winter. Because
okay, is this an expansion then? Is this
it is. It's a sort of sequel, not sequel, but it is kind of a sequel. All right. So Once Human, Way of Winter. Having to do all this stuff all at the same time. Yeah, it's a new map. And there's new stuff going on. And the biggest thing that's going on is the new cold mechanic. And fuck me, is it frustrating. God! Like, as soon as you spawn in, and apparently I spawned in the wrong part of the map, because there's 3 parts of the map, and one is for beginners, one is, for level 1, one is for, level 1 to 10, one is for 10 to 20, and one is for 20 to 30. And apparently and they just ask you, where do you want to start? I'm like, how the fuck do I know where to start? So I just chose a part of the map randomly, and it's like the hardest part to survive in. So
That's
eventually
funny.
I got to the easier part, and then I'm like, but by then I was like level 12. So I'm like, I don't want to do the easy missions. Fuck all y'all. So eventually, I keep dying of frostbite, and it's really frustrating, even though you don't really lose anything when you die. It's the ego, it's the part of me that's like, damn it, this shouldn't be happening, man, what the hell? So eventually, I realize, I'm asking in the chat, like, what's going on? Why am I not doing this? And I have no idea what's going on this freaking map right now. I don't know what these people are doing. I'm skipping ahead on the feed, on the video. So, yeah, I eventually on the chat, people are telling me like, oh, you have to get better clothing. So I was like, what the fuck is this? Because before you just make clothing and it didn't have anything to do with heat. There was no heat, cold mechanic, nothing. So you make clothing and it's fine. Now you make clothing and like, depending on whether you use deer hide or cow hide or elk hide or whatever, it has different modifiers, right? So deer hide is the one you really need, and elk hide won't give you good warmth. So I was just like, motherfucker. So I get my deer hide clothing. I'm like, all right, fine. Now I got my deer hide clothing. And then I go out and you have hypothermia. You're going to die in 30 seconds. And I was like, motherfucker, now what? Okay, well, now you're supposed to make thermomium.
Okay, I see what they did
There's
there.
a rock that you need to get that's so I find out how to get this rock, and I'm like, okay, fine, now I have this rock thermometer. Now I'm gonna be warm enough. Okay, I go back out. You have hypothermia, you're gonna die in 30 seconds. Motherfucker, what the fuck? So it's like, okay, you're supposed to use the crafting station to turn your thermomium into hetium.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fuck me.
What the fuck is this?
So I get it, and it's like, you're getting cold. I'm like, why am I getting cold? They're like, do you have your torch? And I'm like, what the fuck with my torch? And they're like, you need to have your torch with you. I have thermomium. And they're like, well, you need to turn it into helium. I was like, I turned it into helium. And they're like, do you have your torch? Yes. And they're like, well, okay, like don't go out at night. I was like, what? They're like, it gets really, really cold at night. Don't go out at night. I'm like, oh, God damn it.
It's half the game, man.
It is half the game. Oh, am I supposed to just sit around with my thumb up my ass all night? So someone's like, hey, you need to get the thermal lamp. And I was like, oh, fuck me. What is this now? It's
thermal lamp.
just so
Of
many
course you do.
different things you're supposed to be doing to stay warm. How about big coat? What's wrong with big coat? I'll just have a
Yeah.
big coat and then that'll keep me warm. No.
It
you need
sounds to me like they've made it way overcomplicated.
It really has. And like people are, I mean, I'm sure there's people who are like, this sucks, fuck this. But a lot of the people in the chat are like, you'll get it. It's fine. It's actually cool. Because, you know, don't get me wrong. I like a little survival. I like a little extra challenge. I'm not too salty about it. But fuck me. And so I get the lamp and then I'm like, okay, I got the lamp. And I put it in, you got to have it in your
thermal lamp.
You got to have it in your belt. It's not just in your backpack. It's in your belt, right? Okay, it's in my belt. Right, go out. You have hypothermia. You're going to die in 30 seconds. Motherfucker, what the And they're like, oh, you have to turn it on. I was like, nothing else in the game has to
that
be
makes
turned
sense.
on.
To be
I
fair, that
know,
does make sense.
but nothing else in the game is you ever have to. I mean, you have a flashlight that you turn on, I guess, but I can't be too mad about you have to turn it on. Okay, fine.
No,
so I
you
turn
can't,
it
'cause
on.
It's a lamp. It's like a
Right.
flashlight. Isn't it?
I get it. So you turn it on. Okay. Now I'm warm. I'm going to be okay. You have hypothermia. You're going to die in 30. Oh, God damn it.
So what was it this time?
You ran out of like you ran out of fuel for it. I was like, God. And you can't just use charcoal or the regular fuel. You got to get this special fuel to fuck. You know what? Fuck this. So I started over the regular game and I'm like, okay.
Do you know, I think I would have been fuck this game. I'm done a long time ago. I'd have been like,
well, I was
at the
like,
moment I was like, I got hypothermia. The second time I'd be like, fuck it, I'm done.
yeah, I mean, it's pretty ridiculous, but whatever. Like, I'm glad I gave it a try. I think I liked. I mean, there's this whole new map, a lot of new quests and stuff, and for free. So I was like, that was pretty cool. But the fact that the freezing mechanics are so complicated and so frustrating, I was just like, fuck that, man. So I went back and I did a whole run through of the regular one. So you know,
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Don't
You
blame
did
you.
a
It sounds
single
terrible.
quest, not a single quest in this expansion.
Oh no, I did a bunch of the quests. It's just that I
Okay,
kept
cool.
dying along the way. So it's like I could do like one quest before I died of hypothermia. And it's like,
That's not
so
fun
weird.
though. There's no
It's
fun
not.
there, is it?
Exactly.
It's not fun.
Exactly. So whatever. And again, maybe I wasn't doing it right, but that's the thing is that when you play the regular game, it kind of walks you through each of the mechanics. And like there's a journey set of quests that are like, you know, oh, do this, do that, you know. And it just wasn't. It didn't have it for this one.
Yeah.
So,
no, it doesn't
whatever.
sound very good to me.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
Not
So anyway,
at all.
one's human. I'm sticking to the main thing. There's some new thing coming because they keep doing these wipes every 6 weeks. So on the 16th of January, there's going to be another wipe, and it's going to be like, I don't remember what they called it, the lunar octopus or something like that. And I'm like, okay, I'll see what that's about. Hopefully it'll be fun.
Hopefully it will.
Hopefully it will.
Jeez.
We shall
That
see.
just gets on my nerves, man. Like the server being wiped. That's what kept me away from Rust. Was the servers always being wiped? I get why, but like I always found it kind of saddening that I'm losing what I built. You know.
I know. And the thing with this game is there's this thing called Eternal Land where you can like save your home in Eternal Land, and then when you come back to the new thing, when you get enough resources, it shows up again. You know what I mean? You can rebuild it. So in that sense, they've kind of thought through that. But on the other hand, you know, I don't know. I like starting over, and I understand why people are frustrated by it. But I for me, the fun is like going from level 1 to level 50. You know what I mean? So, but that said, I don't want to do it every 6 weeks. I just think that people are after 6 weeks, you know, give and take, you know, some people, they'll do it for 3 months or whatever. Like it does plateau. People's interest in the game kind of just reaches a level where it's like, eh. So I guess they figure the wipes are a way to re-spark your interest. That said, a lot of people have said, I'm sick of these wipes. I would play this if only they didn't wipe every 6 weeks. So I don't know. We'll see. The developers tend to be somewhat responsive. And, you know, like for instance, you know, y'all know how in these games, there's loot everywhere, right? So you kill a monster and they leave behind a corpse and you loot what's in the corpse. Okay. So you press A or F to access the corpse and then F to take everything. Well, they recently switched it so that now when you stand over a corpse, you press F once and you just take everything by default. And then if you want to only take some things, you can hold down F or press a different button to choose the things you take. You know what I mean? So they've really streamlined it, which is really nice because now it's easier to loot the corpses. It's just one less button push, but it makes a difference after 50 monsters that you kill. So there's some ways in which they are responding to what we want, and I don't know. I'm curious to see where it goes next.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it is interesting, but not for me. Not all that shit. I'll be like,
I
nah,
don't blame
no,
you.
thank you.
Yep.
No, thank you. Right. Antonio, back to you, I guess. Were you number 4 of the year? Number 4.
I'm worried. I like Sonic.
What?
I like Sonic.
What?
Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Oh my goodness.
I bought this for my brother, and I thought, you know what? I'll give it a go before I give it to him, just to make sure I wasn't buying him trash. And I finished it.
That's the only reason you played it, huh?
Yep, that genuinely is. I played it, fully completed it on Christmas Day, and I give it back to him saying, I want it back at some point.
What sort of game is it? What sort of game is this?
It's Sonic the Hedgehog.
What, as in a proper 2D Sonic game?
So, Sonic Generations came out, I think, 15 years ago now, and it basically was a best of Sonic game. So,
Yeah, I remember it.
think
I
it's
remember it
called,
well.
Modern Sonic with 2 different styles of gameplay. This is basically a somewhat sequel. So it takes place during the actual game, but basically it's what you're going through Shadow's history, which is another hedgehog if you haven't played Sonic the Hedgehog. I was shocked at how good this game was.
So this is it on screen now, which is 3D. So it isn't like the
3D,
2D. Yeah, it's not the
And
2D Sonics.
How it works is there is one stage set for each game. So let's say one on here, there is the on stream right now. There is an Act 1, which is your big 3D level. And then there's an Act 2, which is kind of a pseudo 2.5D style. Got there in the end, people. Got there in the end.
Yeah.
And I am shocked how good this game is. It activated a certain neuron in my brain, which made me say, I want to get an S rank for everything. I
Oh,
found
wow.
so much
Oh,
how
no.
well the levels are designed. Like, I have not enjoyed a Sonic since Sonic Generations, the one that's also in this game. So you can play Sonic Generations, the old one, and it's 4K 60 now. Yay. This is about 4 or 5 hours max.
This is
but
so
I think
frenetic.
it's-
I'm looking at this. It's giving me a headache. Like, what are you supposed to be doing? Like, you think you're gonna run into the little laser beams, and it's like, oh nope, I'm pushing a button, and it's gonna send me flying to the right. Sorry,
It's a
You're going.
frenetic game, definitely.
Yeah.
But there's a weird joy for me in making a mistake, realizing I could skip 20 seconds if I just did this.
Right.
Yeah, so linking everything together.
Exactly, yeah. And Shadow's moveset, so every world you expand Shadow's moveset a bit, and to the point where at the end of it you get wings, so you can just break levels if you want. But the game developers thought of that, and you can either play the level. Sorry, you can play the level with or without the wings. So either you can just break the game if you want as best you can, or use your skills to try and get an S rank without cheating. I was so shocked how much I love this game. The only thing I didn't really like about it is in Sonic Generations, there is a hub world where you can run left to right, and it's very simple, streamlined, with a few little things to work out and find along the way.
Yeah.
The previous Sonic game before this, the mainline one, was called Sonic Frontiers, which I don't know if you've seen or played it. I haven't, but it's open
No,
world.
I'll be honest. Most of the time, if I see the word Sonic, I just ignore it.
I agree. Apart from the films, I've seen all 3 films.
Yeah, everyone
1 and 2
loves
I didn't
those,
enjoy.
don't they? I've not seen any
Yeah,
of them.
1 and 2 I didn't really enjoy because it wasn't really about the characters of Sonic. It was about humans, and
They're the real monsters.
Damn right. But 3
Turns out it's man.
was basically the humans working with the anthropomorphic animals, and
Okay.
Anyways,
Cool.
I love this game. Like, I want to borrow it back from my brother at some point. It's very short, like I said, but what I was going to go on about earlier, the open world hub menu is, well, an open world, and it's really bland, really boring, and I did whatever I could to kind of get through it as fast as I could.
Because Sonic's not about open world. Sonic's about speed, about precision, getting those rings.
Definitely. Which confirmed to me that I should never buy Sonic Frontiers, because that is an entirely open world game with like mini levels in between.
Right.
This is very streamlined, very to the point. Some levels can get to like 7 minutes long, which is nice, but when you're trying to replay it to get an S rank, 10 out of 10 rating, you can't. I did start,
and you'd have to start from the beginning again if you're trying to go. If you make a mistake,
pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, screw
you
that.
can do a point if you want, but then you might not get the S rank.
Right.
I was just so genuinely. I gave it to my brother and said, "I think I like Sonic."
Wow.
Wow.
You've changed, man. You used to be cool.
Yeah,
No,
man. Now you're liking Sonic. Who knows?
Great soundtrack, looks good. Didn't like the open world thing, but the
It looks
actual
very
levels-
good. I'm impressed. I'm
Yeah,
not used to seeing this kind of graphics from a Sonic game.
No, it does look pretty colourful.
The story is goofy as all heck. Basically,
Yeah.
it takes place, like I said, during Sonic Generations. Doesn't really matter to me. Don't really care.
Yeah.
It's very edgy, but while being a kids game, which I found
Yeah.
hilarious. But the moveset is good. It feels great. The level design is incredible, and I'm sure you all know about Sonic 06. You know, the very bad Sonic game.
Yeah, of course we do.
The best game, the best level in this entire game is set in Sonic 06. Like,
Oh,
they
nice.
redeemed what the original level was, made it 10 times better. I am so shocked how much I like this game, man. So shocked,
Nice.
and I can't wait to play it again and
You
try and
know,
get S ranks.
Do you know what? I bet if we did a survey of all the video game outlets in the world, I doubt anyone has got this on the top 5 of the games of 2024. So there you go. I think you're fairly unique in your opinion.
A lot of the content creators I do follow did put it in their top 10, but maybe that's just who I follow.
Top 10, but not top 5. I said top 5 to be fair.
Touche. Yeah,
Touche.
Sonic Generations. I can't comment on Sonic Generations because I haven't replayed that yet. I wanted to just play the new content to me.
Yeah.
I loved it. So
there you
shocked to
go.
say I loved it.
No, it's
But-
fine.
Cool.
So the open world you're seeing right now on screen for the stream, and as you can see, it's a very big, bland, white open world. But there's also lots of jump pads and stuff and grind rails to kind of get you from A to B. But they
Yeah.
look so sloppily placed. To me, there was no like coherent art design or graphic design to this open world.
Weird.
Yeah.
Very good.
Or is it the challenge of like, okay, we're going to make it so that you can go wherever you want, but you don't have to necessarily go on a certain path. You know what I mean? Like there's a coherence that comes with the necessity of going a certain way.
That would make sense, but no. So like on stream right
that's
now,
crazy.
this person's going to use some hoops and some jump pads to get to somewhere that
Yeah.
you couldn't reach otherwise, and that is
Gotcha.
true.
Yeah.
Maybe once you've got the wings, you could do that, but at that point, you've beaten the game. The wings is
Right,
like where
right.
you get the last level to say, go
Yeah,
nuts,
sure.
have fun.
Okay. Huh. Weird.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, my next game, Duke's going to be very happy about.
Oh, what's that?
Because in the Steam sale, I bought Stardew Valley.
Oh my gosh, Stardew Valley! Yes.
yeah,
Hey, this is the first time
never-
you played it?
Yep, never played it.
Oh,
Never played it.
oh man, you're so
So
lucky.
I was like, do you know, it was cheap. I can't even remember how much I paid, but it wasn't a lot of money. So I was like, do you know what? I should buy this because Duke's always banged on about how amazing it
Not
is.
just me. This is the gold standard of like farming, you know, cozy
Uh,
games.
I've not played a lot. I'll be honest. I've only played probably about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So I can't comment too much.
Yeah.
But I've got rid of weeds. Do you know what I
Yeah.
like? And then you could correct me if I'm wrong, because obviously I don't know, because I've only played 40 minutes. Does stuff actually ever break, or is that it? Once you've just got your stuff and you just crack on?
You know, it's been a minute. I don't remember if things break. I don't
I
think they
don't- you
break. I
don't
think
think-
it, I don't think they do. They don't break. What you will get is tools that can do more.
Yeah.
So-
So you upgrade, don't you?
Right,
So
because there's
the-
certain
the
trees you
impression
can't
I get.
chop down now. There's certain rocks you can't
Correct.
get rid of. Right. So once you upgrade your equipment, you'll be
Yeah.
able to destroy those.
And I've just got the fishing rod.
Yeah.
I like the fishing mini game.
It's not bad. It was. I think they made
It's
it
all right.
better.
It's pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. I like the way it works.
Yeah.
So I like the fishing mini game, and I've caught some stuff. I
Yeah.
think I caught a minnow. Caught a
Yeah.
minnow. But there's more to the fishing mini game than your first thing. You know, you've got to keep it at the right place and all that kind of jive while you're catching stuff. I liked it. I pretty much like it so far. You know, it's cute.
Yeah.
I've planted some crops. You know, I've been and watered them, all that
Yeah.
sort of stuff. You know, I'm
Sure.
going to nurture them.
Yeah.
And I just keep getting, you know, they're doing all the little quests it's telling me to do, which is not a
Yeah.
lot so far. I think
Yeah.
the last thing I had to do was go meet the fisherman on the dock, and then he gives you his old fishing rod.
Yep.
So here, I'm my old fishing rod. Have some
Yeah.
fun. Go and catch some fish.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far so good. It's cute. It's very Nintendo. I know it
Yeah.
isn't a Nintendo
Yeah.
game, but it is very.
Oh, he's clearly ripping
Yeah.
off Nintendo's aesthetic.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not so much Animal Crossing as what's the other one that they did? That's very similar
Harvest
to
Moon?
this. Yeah, Harvest Moon. It's more like Harvest Moon than it is Animal
yeah.
Crossing.
Is this on the Steam Deck? It says do it.
Yes, it's very Steam Deck compatible. Perfect, in fact.
How does this look on the OLED then? I bought myself an OLED. It's coming in a couple of days. How does
Yep.
this look on the OLED?
Lovely, because it's very bright, very colourful. The OLED's just such a good. It's just such a good handheld. It's just so great. But yeah, I am fully invested in the Steam Deck universe now. Do you know what I mean? I do play games on the PC, but very rarely. The only time I tend to play games on the PC now is if it won't run on the Steam Deck. So if it doesn't run on Steam Deck, that's the only time I ever play anything on the PC because I have no choice.
Yeah.
You know, so Silent Hill 2 wouldn't run on Steam Deck, so I played that. And obviously, Alan Wake 2 wouldn't run on Steam Deck, so I played that on PC. But everything else, Steam Deck. You know, if it runs, Steam Deck. I love it. You know, I run the battery down all the time.
Yeah.
From playing on it. But
You
yeah,
are the ideal customer, to be fair, because the only real thing that stops me from properly liking it is two things: the lack of an Xbox thing, and also anti-cheat doesn't really work on Steam Deck. So like,
no. So if you play multiplayer games, there is some issues with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot
Nothing's
of
perfect.
no, nothing's perfect. They are some of the games are taking that out, so it'll work on the Steam Deck. So it depends how much you want people to play it on the Steam Deck or buy it for the Steam Deck. But I don't play very many multiplayer games, so that very rarely affects me. So some of that doesn't really affect me so much at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people are constantly finding ways around it. There's always a workaround on a lot of that stuff. But Silent Hill 2 still doesn't work on Steam Deck, so I haven't played that as much as I'd probably like because of that very reason. It is weird, isn't it? It's like, can't play it on the Steam Deck, so not playing it then.
Yeah.
We have our preferences, man. We have our ways of getting comfy and playing something. Or
Yeah, I like sitting on the couch.
Yeah,
plug it in, you know, so I don't have to charge it. I got I've got two chargers. I have one that obviously the original charger that I use with the dock. I very rarely, I'll be honest, I've got a dock for the TV. I very rarely play it on the TV. Even though I can do, I very rarely do. And the other, I got one of the Amazon Basics chargers, with it's the high wattage one, so it's something like 45 or 50 watts. And that's perfect for the Steam Deck. So I have two really long leads plugged into that. One I tend to use for the phone, one I stick in the Steam Deck. And you can just sit and play all afternoon. You know, you don't have to worry about it running out or any of that jive. I take it away with me when I go on holiday. It's great. It's one of the best gadgets I've probably bought. You know, full stop. I played it way more than I ever played my Switch. Probably more than I even played like Game Boy or anything like that. You know what I mean? I've probably played it more than any of the other handhelds that I've owned over the years.
Yeah.
So like Nintendo DS, I've probably played it more than that. So
cool.
Yeah, such a great gadget. It's so good.
Yeah.
And they just keep improving it all the time. So there you go. Stardew Valley, though, I'm going to put some more time in. It's a perfect game. I forgot even what I was talking about.
I'm sorry.
It's a great game. I'm glad you're enjoying it so far. I think it does a great job of building on its strengths over time until you get done with the main quest, and then it kind of like, I don't know, I think it plateaus. There's other stuff to do after you finish the main quest, but every time I finish the main quest, I'm like, all right, I'm done. I don't really care about these other steps of the thing. So,
yeah.
But it's really well made. It's very cute. It's very rewarding. And I hope you love it as much as I did.
I will do. I will keep on playing.
Yeah.
Back to you, Duke.
Yeah, back to me. Let's see. I don't know if I have anything. Oh, yeah, I got another one called Noun Town.
Oh, yeah, Noun Town. Of course you do.
So Noun Town was a game that I played the demo of, and
I feel like this is something to do with letters. Is it something to do with letters?
Yeah, it's about learning new words.
Of course it is.
So the
Letters
person
and
here is
words.
playing Korean, but you can set it to any language you want. Well, I mean, there's a certain number of languages that they have available for it. And, you know, you basically walk around, you pick up the chair, and then it tells you the word for chair. And then you put it somewhere in the little apartment area. And then you go get the cup, and then it tells you what the word for cup is. And, you know, the interesting thing is that it can, like, recognize your microphone. So you have the choice to, like, spell it, to write it out, or you could say it. So I did it saying it, which is, you know, that's pretty cool that we're at a point in our evolution as gamers that it can recognize you saying it correctly or you saying something totally wrong, you know? So if you were studying French...
Can I just say, is this on iPad or is this on...
No, it's on Steam, but I only played the demo.
So you're just talking to your microphone?
Yep, that's right.
Wow.
And it might
weird.
be on the iPad. I don't know. I mean, I assume most game developers are going to probably try to do it in all different platforms, especially if it's something cutesy like this. Yeah. At a certain point, you know, it's a learning game, and I don't know about y'all, but I've never really been into learning games. I feel like games that are trying to be educational have such a high burden and such a
but
difficult...
don't you, I mean, I know it's not strictly a game, but you do Duolingo, don't
I do
you?
Duolingo, but I don't think of it as a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but
they
it's gamified, though,
it's
isn't it?
gamified. That's the thing, is that, like, I'm just trying to keep my streak going at this point. If it weren't for the streak, I don't know if I would be using Duolingo, to be honest. Like, that part of it has definitely got its hook in me. I want to keep that streak going as long as I can. I mean, I do like learning the language, obviously, but I don't really feel like I'm getting fluent, and I really need to be learning vocabulary, which is what drew me to this game. You know, like, I want to learn the words for things. But, you know, when it's time to play a video game, I look at this and I'm just like, oh, God. I don't want to study right now. You know what I mean? So video games that are educational have always tried to sort of disguise the fact that you're learning. And it's like on The Simpsons when they had the Bible trading cards, and Ned Flanders is like, who'd have thought learning about religion could be fun? And the kids had been talking about Methuselah rookie card, you know, and then they go, learning religion, and they walk away.
I think what's interesting, you haven't put it on the screen.
What? Oh,
So
shit.
I've-
My bad. Oh,
So
God. I had
I've gone to have a look at it.
Yeah,
you didn't
sorry.
tell me it had this really cool 70s aesthetic going
It
on.
has a really interesting 70s aesthetic. My bad
with
for not putting
flared
it on the screen.
trousers, and I'm assuming there's some funky music going on in the background, is there?
I don't remember the music being that funky, but it is sort of 70s
It looks like there should
futuristic
be.
type of thing. I didn't play for very long, to be honest, because, you know, it's like, again, like, oh, there's a hub world and you can go to these locations, and you can, if you learn the name for a car, then you get a car or whatever. And I was just like, so much work. So
I like
don't
the
know.
look of it, though. I must admit, I do really
The
like
look
the
of it
look
is
of
fine. I don't have any dispute about the look of it. I just, it just felt like, you know, it feels like it's not doing either of the things that it could be doing well enough. You know what I mean? It's not fun enough to be a game in its own right. And if it's going to be teaching me, it should be teaching me more. You know what I mean? Like, there's too much stuff in the way of me learning. So that's been my beef with a lot of learning games. Is like, as a Duolingo, it's mostly just like, you're going to learn these words now, or you're going to practice saying this stuff, or you're going to, you know, figure out what the pairs of words are, or whatever. Like, it's not really that fun. And this game's trying to be more fun. And I'm just like, ugh, fun.
But failing is also failing.
For me, it wasn't very fun. Other people might have fun with it. I don't know. Because, you know, and you can choose your avatar, and you can, you know, unlock clothing and this and that, and you set up your little home the way you want. I'm like, I don't want any of that. I'm going to go back to House Flipper, which is exactly like that.
Yeah, you got to House Flipper.
Without learning. So, yeah, I don't know.
Now, fair enough. Antonio, what's your number 3?
It's also in VR, so there's like a flat screen and a VR version.
Yeah, I don't know whether that would
really?
make it any better.
Yeah, I'm
probably
watching
not.
the VR version. It looks not pretty cool in VR.
Okay.
Hey man, with entertainment, I kind of hope like the games like these keep coming, because I'd love that kind of stuff in school. Like, I got very good at basic maths due to a video game.
Oh, that's cool.
When I was
That's
a little kid, I used to take part in something called Mathletics, which was basically, you know, you got 60 seconds, you're playing against someone else online. Do maths as fast as you can. So
I
like,
like that. See?
yeah.
Take some competitive, gamify it, and
Maybe
your
it's just
kids have
not
got
for
to
me, I don't
flock to it. Flock
I
to
guess
it.
so.
Well, you're also a teacher and also have a full-time job, so I don't think this is for you now.
Yeah.
No,
could
I
be
don't
that
think
that's
it
the
is.
difference. I don't know.
And he'd rather be playing Rocket League, let's be honest.
Who wouldn't?
Antonio, what's your number 3?
I'll rattle through these faster since of time. Silent Hill 2. I know this game off the top of my heart, top to bottom. I know everything about this game. So with the remake, especially because it was made by a developer who I believe has made 0 good games up to this point, Bloober Team, I bought it with apprehension. Silent Hill 2 remake. Yeah, they did great. They did great, in my opinion.
I didn't. Was it the medium they did? Was it medium?
They did, yeah. They did the
I
medium,
I
they did
didn't
50
mind that. I actually quite
Witch.
liked that game. I didn't mind it at all.
The closest
was-
they got to me was Blair Witch. The closest they got to making a good game for me.
Yeah, but the first game they made, what was the first game they made? We were in that house that keeps
Laser Fear.
changing.
Laser Fear, that's what it's
Yeah,
called.
Laser Fear. That was pretty well, you know, people like that game.
I'm picky with my horror, man. I'm very picky with my horror.
Yeah.
This game shouldn't be twice as long as the original. That's the main takeaway I have from this. In
Yeah,
fact-
it is. It is a very long game. I've just got past the apartments.
Okay, got you.
So I'm just past the apartments.
But Hey man, they modernized it and they did it well. Because I love Silent Hill 2 and 3 and 4 to death, but they do feel very old. Like
Shattered Memories is still my favorite.
that's a good one. I
It's
played
a
on the
really
Wii.
good game, but
They had a Wii version, didn't it?
yeah, that was only on the Wii. It wasn't on anything else. Yeah, it was on the Wii. They had different versions out on the Xbox and PS3 at the time.
Hold on, I'm going to challenge you live on the air.
Oh, well, you can do, but I know it was a Wii exclusive.
Shared Memories.
And it was by Sam
Okay.
Barlow, who did Her Story. And
Yeah,
such
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. It was on the PS2 and PSP as well.
Oh, yeah, I knew
snap.
it wasn't. I did say, can I just
best-
touche say the PS3 and Xbox 360 is what I said. So
Come on.
I knew it wasn't on either of the other two main consoles at the time.
To be fair, the Wii version probably was the best one because the mechanic of shining a flashlight. Anyway,
Yeah, it worked really well. I remember loving it. I absolutely
Yeah.
loved it. One of my favorite games. And it was this. What was so cool about it was in between levels, you had to speak to this psychiatrist and give all these answers, and it would affect how the story went, how people you interacted with in the game would treat you and stuff.
had
It was a
very
really
good
clever
twist
game.
as well, which then made that and Silent Hill 3 kind of connect better because it's like a pseudo. What was it like a pseudo reimagining of
Yeah, it
Silent
showed
Hill
that of the original Silent Hill,
Yeah.
it was meant to be, but it was completely bonkers crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But really good.
Silent Hill 2 remake. Yeah, they smashed it, man. In my opinion, I really, really enjoyed my time with this. It had some of the modern third-person action slow game problems of going from A to B quite a lot, but then again, Silent Hill 2 did that as well, just not double the amount of playtime. I loved it though. It looks beautiful, and in some ways, it is creepier. The bit that stands out to me, thanks to modern lighting, and I'm playing on an OLED TV. There's a bit where you're just going through the apartments. You turn a corner, and right at the end of the corridor is a big ray of light, red light. It's Pyramid Head. He's just standing there.
Oh
In
yeah,
the PS2 version, because of the camera angles, you don't kind of get the same reveal. But
no. Is that the bit where you're in the apartment block? Because there's a bit in the apartment block where you just see him beyond the gate. It's
That's
like
it.
it's horrible.
he's so far away, and it's like a small speck on your screen, so you have to get closer to investigate him. And
Yeah.
the PS2 version didn't really nail that as well.
No. And the other thing, I think the very first time you encounter Pyramid Head, which is always near the end of the apartment section, isn't it? It's so creepy, and the stuff he's doing, you're like, yeah, he's doing some weird shit, and you're hiding, and he knows you're there, but he decides not to. I feel like he looks at you as though, like, you're not even worth the effort.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, I know you're there, but I can't even be bothered because you're not even worth it. You know, I could just flick you with one of my fingers and you're gone.
The actual beats of the story are still the same, and it still is ever a great emotional story to me that explores mental health in a really interesting way. But the biggest kind of worry I had was the combat.
Right.
And they nailed it, in my opinion, of making it feel modern so you feel like you're in control, but not making you an overpowered action hero.
No, definitely not. No, there is. It's all about timing as well. I like the fact that there's timing involved.
There is a bit of skill to it. Yeah, if you nail the timing of like hitting and dodging, you
Yeah.
more than likely will win. But even then, if someone else comes from behind you,
Oh
you
yeah,
still might be screwed.
and it doesn't do that thing where it's just one at a time. Because quite often with these types of games, you're just like fighting one baddie at a time. But sometimes that can drastically change.
But yeah, Silent Hill 2 remake. If you only played this and not the original, I wouldn't say there are some gatekeepers who would say if you played the remake, you haven't played the game. Fuck off. You played Silent
Yeah,
Hill 2.
I never played the original Silent 2, so the only
You've
one I
listened
have
to
ever
them
played
too.
is Shattered Memories. That's the only one I've ever played.
Hey, because
So-
if anything, who wants to play a PS2 game over a PS5 game? In
Nope.
most cases nowadays, you know what I mean?
Indeed.
Not me. Not me. I won't be doing that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's me again, isn't it?
I guess so.
Well, it's all of us. It's all of us because we're going to talk about Overthrown, aren't we? That's
Oh,
what
snap.
play my game, bitch.
Yeah, bitch!
Yeah, bitch.
Play my game, bitch.
Yeah, it's got the Breaking Bad connection.
Yeah, bitch!
Yeah, you can clearly tell this was made for PC.
Yeah.
It doesn't. I mean, I played this obviously on the Steam Deck using Xbox streaming, and it was fine, but it was very clunky, and the writing was tiny.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't even read that. I'm trying to read what I'm supposed to be doing on my next objective. I don't know what it was like on a bigger screen, but on the Steam Deck, it was very tiny.
It had a similar. I mean, I play basically right in front of my monitor, so it's not. Yeah, but the text is small, and I think they should start by asking what kind of scaling do you want. I think we're at a point where people have not only just some of us have better eyesight than others, but I think that people are playing on such different size screens that it just makes sense for a game developer to be like, okay, what is it you want to do in terms of your UI scale? And I just, here's my thing with this game. Like, okay, I wanted to like it. There's things I like about it. It's cute. I like the fact that you can pick up trees and throw them into your sawmills. So it's it's
the weirdest thing, isn't it?
It's a town builder, medieval style town builder. But it's for it's third person. You're the queen, I guess. So your first step is to get your crown back. And then you set up a town hall, and then and you're running around doing these things, yeah. So it's not that you're you're not just telling people what to do. You're setting things up by creating, okay, the sawmill is going to go here, the sawmill is going to go there, and you can throw the trees into the sawmill, which is cool because then you get more resources faster. But here's the thing: most of the games like this, you will have a chart on your main screen all the time of how much wood you have, for instance, how much stone you have, how much gold you have.
Yep.
That's not on your main screen. You have to open up one menu to check on how much wood you have, which is just ridiculous, right?
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
There's, the movement is a little weird at first because it's not clear that you can walk, run, sprint, and do like a queen boost thing, whatever the fuck it is, right? And so once you do the queen boost thing, you're like, okay, I can move quickly by boosting, but it only does it for like a second. And then eventually I realized, if you hold down another button while you're doing the queen boost, then you really fly around. So it took a while for me to, again, just walk me through it. Like, don't make me have to hunt for this shit. You know what I mean? That was frustrating to me. But
I'm trying to work out. I mean, I'm watching on screen here. I didn't get a sword. Did you get a sword?
Yeah. Because at a certain
I never got a
point,
sword.
I don't know if it's you start automatic, but again, it doesn't really tell you. And these ads, God, I don't know how Chinny does this without having ads every 5 seconds.
Oh yeah,
He probably has an ad blocker.
What's that?
He probably has an ad blocker.
Well, I have an ad blocker, but YouTube is like, we're gonna get around all your ad blockers. But whatever, maybe I just don't have the right one. Anyway, I keep seeing ads for ad blockers on YouTube. I'm like, that's very ironic.
That's funny.
So here's again, like you might have the sword from the beginning, but it doesn't really tell you. So like I ended up just pushing buttons, and then I was like, oh, that's how you switch between items on your user bar or whatever. It's not using the exact same steps that every other game like this does, which again, ridiculous because you don't need to reinvent the wheel, man. But that said,
it doesn't really have a tutorial.
It really doesn't. I mean, it has your build. It has your like quest items in the upper left corner, right? Build a pantry so you can have food for your people. Build an outhouse so they have somewhere to poop. Like, okay, and you can basically walk through. And it's early access, so they're probably going to work on that. But the part that bothered me was at a certain point, one of the quests was, bandits are gathering near your town.
Here we go.
Go find them. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting aspect. Not every town builder has combat, but this one does. All right, let me see about it. The combat fucking sucks in this game. I'm sorry, people.
No.
It's just not good combat. And I managed to get the drop on the first group of bandits, so I managed to wipe them out without a whole lot of problem. But then the second group, and you have to break all their stuff. So when you break their tents and you break their boxes and you break their fire and their braziers and all this, okay. You take out their camp.
Just a minute. Whoa. Did you say break the braziers and in the bras?
Brazier. If it's like burning fire in a metal
okay.
structure.
So not the ladies' bras then.
No. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. I don't know how you say it, but
braziers is what you're talking about, not a brazier.
Wow,
that's a totally different thing.
Sure. So anyway, no. There's also that. It's also getting ladies' knickers off.
Break the braziers and the braziers.
Right.
Do both of them.
Yeah, why not? So I got to the second one, and it was like they just pounced on me, and I was like, "Oh shit, I'm going down in health." And so I was trying to run away, but after you get hit, you can't run right away. So it just kept hitting me and hitting me and hitting me. And I was like, ah,
Oh, no.
and then I died. And again, like you respawn, and I had gotten some coins. I don't remember where I got them. I guess it was from the first round of bandits that I wiped out. So I had coins, and it was like, okay, I got coins here. That's fine. So I could respawn. But I was respawning all the way back at my, town hall.
Yeah.
And
where
I was
you
like,
were
I
to
don't want to
begin
go
with.
back over there. Fuck this shit. I'm done.
Yeah.
So I just
Yeah.
quit
It wasn't my sort of thing. I'd like to say I got as far as you, but I didn't.
out. Yeah.
I played it for a bit and sort of got a feel of what it was going to be like. But I had issues with like the text size. I had issues with the fact that there's no real tutorial.
Yeah.
And I figured stuff out. It's not that sort of complicated, I don't suppose. But I feel like it could have had just something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's
But yeah,
it's
fine.
early access, and I think it's too early access. Like it's very, very early access. So it's playable.
There's definitely
but
a
it's
game
not,
there. Yeah, I was going to
It
say
is,
there's definitely
yeah.
a game there,
There
but I
is.
don't know how good it's going to be when it's
But again,
finished.
it's like if I want to play a city builder, like there's 20 of them that are better than this. If I want to play
Yeah.
a game that has combat, there's 100 that are better than this. You know what I mean? So I'm just.
I
Like,
think it's interesting that they've overpowered the queen, that you can just
Yeah.
pick up trees and do all this crazy
Yeah.
shit.
yeah,
And I
that's
kind
kinda
of
cool.
like that about it,
If they leaned
compared
into
to
that
the-
more, maybe that
Yeah.
would be better. I don't know. Antonio, did
Yeah.
you play this? What do you think?
Very briefly, I should have asked sooner than half an hour beforehand. This is the anti-me game. If you're giving me a big open sandbox and you're told there's no objective, really, just build stuff. I know there's a quest you can do, but this is a me thing. I really struggle with games that don't have an end game.
Yeah,
I'm
they
very
don't have
careful.
like an end to them.
Right.
I'm very careful with playing multiplayer games nowadays because of that. And I
Mm.
gave it a go for a quick few minutes just to learn the controls, understand it, and I realized, you build things. No, that's not for me.
Yeah.
That is not.
I
Yeah,
hear you.
yeah. Same for me. To be fair, I would very rarely choose to play one of these types of games.
Yeah.
I think
enough.
Rust was one of the few that I played for longer than most of these types of things.
Yeah, and that was a good 10 years ago or something. So
I think as well that was because it was just so community based.
Right,
I mean, there was
sure.
so many people playing it. You felt.
Well-
I think there was a definite FOMO thing going on.
And did I give you that? I think I might have bought it for
I
you.
think you might have done.
Yeah.
I think you might have done.
Because I bought it for a number of people. I was like, everyone should
But I
play
played-
Rust.
Played it for way longer than I would have played any
Yeah.
of these types of games.
Sure.
Um,
Sure.
Fair enough. Right. Yeah, Antonio, over to your final top 2 games.
Should I just do them both very quickly so we can?
Yeah,
move on?
you can
Yeah.
do. You can do.
Right. These are Astrobot and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, aka Yakuza 8. They're both interchangeable. Astrobot because it is one of those games that doesn't really do much new, but everything it wants to do, it does 10 out of 10 perfectly. Every moment I played this game, I had a smile on my face, grinning ear to ear, especially because I really love Astrobot and its lore. The first time I played Astrobot actually was with you guys at the arcade club in 2018, I think it was, or 2017. one
Yeah,
of those meetups.
yeah.
Because that was the first time I tried a PSVR, and that was obviously one of the demos with that headset was an Astro. I think it was called Playroom platform.
Yeah, it was.
Platform?
Astrobot's Playroom, it was.
That's it. The Playroom VR. That's it. Nice one. And ever since then, I've followed Astrobot. I played the VR game. Astro's Playroom, in my opinion, was the best PS5 game at launch, and still is until now. I love this game so much. It just oozes creativity. You get a new gimmick nearly every single level. Every single level is on a whole new different planet or domain. Even on the hub world, there are little mini games and mini levels you can just discover by playing about in the hub area. It oozes PlayStation, which is weird because about half of the people you save in this game. So if you haven't played it, basically you play as a cute little platforming mascot. You're flying along on a PS5. All of the friends that you've saved in previous games, which are little Astrobots like you, they all get dispersed in the galaxy. You gotta go and find them. And about half of them are dressed like PlayStation characters from the past. And I'd say about half of them are dead franchises or, have been killed by PlayStation. So it's kind of a weird balance there of I've just saved someone,
Yeah.
but I haven't played a game of yours in 20 years.
Right.
It's weird.
It is weird.
Well, to be fair, this was Chinny's number 3 last week
Oh,
when we did.
yeah.
Yeah, when we did Game of the Year. It was number. He's
He has
number
good
3.
a lot of people's
game.
number one.
Yeah, a lot of people's number
Yeah.
1.
Yeah, you could. It's interchangeable for me and this and Yakuza 8 because they're both mastercrafts of their genres, in my opinion. Like this is probably one of the best platformers, in my opinion, ever made. It
Yeah.
does
Wow.
nothing groundbreaking, but every single thing you do in it, you think that's good. You've done that
Slick.
well.
It's slick.
Oh, it's not just slick; it's slick with a bit of extra
It's
edge on
slick.
it. It's beautiful.
It's like that. I always forget the name of it, but the there was a platformer that came out, which was a little bit like Little Big Planet, but it wasn't Little Big Planet on the Sony platform, and I can never remember what it's called, and I absolutely loved it.
Okay, not Knack then.
No, it wasn't that. No, it definitely wasn't that.
More details might be able to help.
I'm sure it was made by the same people as Little Big Planet. It had that aesthetic going on,
Okay.
but I can't for the life of me remember what it was called. I always
What
forget.
console was it? Do you remember?
I can't remember whether it was on PSP. Was it on PSP?
Tearaway?
Yeah, Tearaway.
Oh, yeah.
I love that game.
That
And
was Vita and PS4. That one.
Oh, Vita, that was it, not the PSP. It was the Vita. But that had loads of sort of really innovative stuff going on, and it was a really, really clever platforming game.
Both
So I
of those
think-
do have a kind of kindred spirit in the sense of they were made for their platforms. So like,
Yeah.
Tearaway had lots of gimmicks just for the Vita. This has gimmicks all built around the PS5 controller,
Yeah.
such as shaking it
Ha-
or using the
Yeah,
touchpad or
haptic
whatever.
tabs and all that sort of thing, haptic pads or whatever it is.
Like, if my boy ends up becoming a video game fan, I would show him this before Mario because it is so simple, so easy
Wow.
to pick up and play.
Wow,
But
that's
it's
saying
visually
something.
stimulating as well.
Mm.
But even to an adult, you look at it and go, "This is really cute," and like
Yeah.
looking around the environment, finding little details, and just going, "Huh, that plant is dancing over there." Little things like that. It's
This is
just
driving me nuts. The person on the gameplay I'm showing, I cannot
Let's
get
get
to
this
that
on the
spot.
show.
I'm like, what the fuck? How do you do it? I want to know on his behalf.
but it also goes back to what I mentioned about Indiana Jones. This has just been play tested to hell. If there was a question of should we have fixed this, it's been fixed.
Yeah.
And there's little things that I didn't like about the original Astrobot on the PSVR, completely all fixed here. Little things like if you go through a level and you're missing one bot or one hidden puzzle piece, what you can do is you can go back, pay 200 coins, which you find all around the level, and you get a little radar. that
Oh,
follows you,
nice.
and it
Oh,
will
that's
blitz and
such a
say,
good
"You
thing
get
to have.
closer, you get
There
closer."
are certain games that I'm like, oh man, I can see wanting to collect it all, but I'm not running around for an hour just trying to find spots. So I'm so glad they're starting to
Exactly.
include stuff like that. Yeah, that's great.
It just respects your time and it respects you like as a
Yeah.
gamer as well. I
Yeah,
know I said
cool.
the G word, but it just feels very rewarding.
I hope
to
this comes to Steam at
know
some point
PlayStation
soon.
history. I hope so. I'd be surprised because it really is built around the PS5. But
Yeah.
crazier things have happened. Spider-Man's
Yeah.
on there now, so
Yeah, I know,
who
right?
knows? And Yakuza Infinite Wealth. It was very bold of Sega to release the best game of the year right at the start of the year. What are you gonna do? I love the Yakuza games, but
Yeah.
also for their faults. So Yakuza 7 was a reinvention of the franchise. Yakuza is like a beat 'em up style game. Number
Yeah.
7 became a turn-based RPG.
That's
and I
correct.
said at the time.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, yeah.
Huh.
So, and now they kind of switch between. So the spin-offs are still the punchy style games. This one is a turn-based action game now.
Okay.
And I said to my friend when it came out, considering this was made in 2 years, give them another 2 years. This might be the best JRPG ever made. 'Cause
Really?
I love Persona 5.
Yeah. Well, I
you
like
look
Persona
at
5,
the
but God, I just haven't got time to play that game.
Is big. I wouldn't play it nowadays with the time I have.
No, you just don't have time, man. It's just so it just sucks it away.
Well, that's partly why I have played so few brand new games this year. Because Yakuza, I think when I finished it, it was 90 hours. I think.
Oh my God, I just
Not
can't
gonna-
face that anymore. I
I
used
did
to. I
last
mean, I have done it, but 90 hours to me just sounds like so much time invested in one game.
I fully agree, but I never
Yeah.
really felt like my time was being wasted. Because about
No,
50
and I don't
was the
think it would
story.
be. I don't think it would be because you know me, I'm a big Yakuza fan as much as you are.
Mhm.
But I just feel like it's 90 hours, man.
You could speedrun it in about 20, I'd say 20, 25 if you just did the story. and that's it.
Antonio, I'm an
Yes.
old man these days,
Yes.
right? I ain't
Yes.
speed running anything. You know what I mean? I'll be doing 90 hours just doing the main quest line, probably.
No, fair play.
Yeah.
I did dedicate time to this game, because I do love the franchise and all that. And I mentioned earlier, Yakuza 7, if they fixed a few things, to me, it could have been the best JRPG ever made. And it is. Gameplay wise, this is so fun.
I never
Everything
even
is
finished
fun.
Yakuza 6. Didn't finish it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went back as well. I've played it for a really long time. Went back and I still didn't finish it. Never finished it. Sold it in the end. I think I sold it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I adore this game so much. It still has some problems. It still has some Japanese game design quirks that I can't stand. but I look past that for the.
I've
bits I
heard
do
so
enjoy.
many good things about this. I really have. So
I loved it, man. I
Yeah.
absolutely adored it. It's best in its class in terms of RPGs. But then again, I'm not a big JRPG guy, so maybe I'm just blowing air. I don't know. But it was just fun, man, at the end of the day. Little things like this is if I could sum up the changes in terms of like streamlining the game design.
Changes.
In Yakuza 7, it's turn-based, like I said, but your character kind of just walked around when you were waiting to do an attack. So, say you wanted to use the environment for an attack, you kind of had to pray and hope it works. But now you're given a small radius to walk around and actually try and aim your attack just right. So
Yeah.
hopefully you can get a
Nice.
multi-hit or a critical, or if there's a snow.
yeah, you
cone
just
as
had to
well.
be in the right place to get it to activate, didn't you? In the original Yakuza games.
But now you're given the freedom to actually move around in the zone and actually plan your attack a bit more.
Yeah.
And it is, how do I word this? It's the least JRPG possible maybe out there, in the sense of one of the characters literally breaks the rules. So there's a guy called Kiryu who's known as like the Yakuza mainstay guy. His special attack is you hold RT and he just, for about 5 to 10 seconds, it stops being a JRPG and you can free roam and punch people.
Cool. I like that.
Interesting.
But
I will
just-
probably play this at some point. It is on my radar, but it's
Make
just
sure
like,
you let Antonio know which episode you're going to talk about.
Oh God, I don't know whether I can invest that amount of time. As much as I love these games,
honestly, I think that is fair. I really think that's fair. The only reason I've dedicated so much time to it is because I do love the Yakuza games, you know?
Yeah.
and I do. I'm with you there. You know I do. I love the
Yeah, but
stories.
you don't
I
love him
love
as much
all
as
the-
Antonio, obviously.
I d- obviously not. No, I don't love them that
Obviously
much. I
not.
mean,
Yeah.
nobody loves them that much. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yakuza 0 is in my top 10 games ever made. I'll never play it again.
Yeah,
because-
Yakuza 0 is so good.
Because that was 10 years ago now, I think. And there's been so much evolution in terms of game design, just from this series alone, that if I went and played through it again, I'd get angry at the amount of times I'm just walking and not playing the game, the amount of fetch quests I'd be doing. That would just, let's leave the memories alone, you know? But yeah,
Yeah.
Astrobots and Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, two of my favorite games of last year. Hell yeah, man. I cannot wait for the Pirate spin-off that comes out next month, which genuinely looks better than like so you know about Skull and Bones, right? And how that was a massive money sink, really
Yeah.
bad game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With about 10% of the budget, they've made the next Yakuza game is like a pirate game. It looks like what Skull and Bones should have been. Naval combat, you know, going on other people's ships. Basically Assassin's Creed 4, you know, again, but now with a bit of goofy flair.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
the combat doesn't make cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie
there you
doke.
Okie doke.
Okay. Right,
Well,
we
there's-
have got. Oh, go on. Sorry.
I was just going to say that's Antonio's Games of the Year, people. You
It
heard it here
is.
first.
It is. Okay, we have got emails and we have got speak pipes and we've got a lot of shit to get through at the end of the show because we've been doing stuff.
Whoa, that ruled.
So we're going to start with emails. Shall we get Jason out of the way first? He sent two. We've got two to get through.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's find those. Here we go. He says, "Ooh, Jason, where's Jason? Jason.
Jason.
Here we go." Okay, he's. I don't know whether this is first or second. I've lost track of which one's which because you know
Okay.
stuff. This one's called Free Beer. Free Beer.
Yeah.
And he says, Stu, I thought the last email was funny, but you guys took it out. This is the one. This is the one that I need to read first. Stu, I thought the last email was funny, but you guys took it to heart. I never thought of you as geeks or nerds. Only three very cool, funny guys. Chinny is hilarious. Juki is funny. And to be fair, you yourself have always made me laugh out loud every show. And I was so happy when I heard Mike would be a father, mostly because of the shit diapers. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Shit diapers.
I'll stop taking the piss. People take the piss because they love you. The drone references were a joke because there have been so many above our airspace this month. I find it odd that Robert Smith wrote a song about drones on his latest album. Then immediately upon album release, drones get spotted all over the US.
Dude,
Smith said
coincidence?
that
I think not.
Exactly. Smith said that people were flying drones to spy on him, and it made him so upset that he wrote about it in Songs of the Lost World.
Yes.
Drone, no drone. I just think China and the aliens want the cure. That's meant to be
Okay.
a joke as well. Haha.
Yes, I see.
At
what you did
least
there.
I thought it was funny, you twat. Oh,
Uh-oh.
sorry. I took the piss again. Damn, I'm an asshole. I'm done taking the piss. You three are amazing humans in this crazy world. I have the cure for misunderstood emails.
I see what
and
you
you
did
know
there.
what? And you know what? You always stuck to your word and read that horse shit out on your show. I always thought that was weird and shit for you to do. But that's why you would win the coolest video game character award. Above Nathan Drake or John Marston, believe me, you are a character in this simulation. Thanks for reading so much was from me. Not matter how you took it, it was always funny. Had to have been there, I guess. Laughing face.
Okay.
The substance should have had Nick Cage in it.
Okay.
Watch it on New Year's Day. Lots of nudity, though. I don't know whether he's trying to sell it now by going, yeah, lots
I
of
know, right?
nudity.
Yeah, baby.
So if you hate boobs as much as Duke, forget about it.
Okay, I think I may have miscommunicated somehow. I never claimed to hate boobs.
Do you hate boobs, Duke?
I don't really hate boobs.
Are you hating on the boobs?
No.
Did I just forget to stop taking the piss? Maybe it's just who I am. I am a true bell end.
No, you're
and
not.
in the end, it is a masterpiece. My bell end, as well as Demi Moore's brilliant The Substance, the boob joke at the end hitting all the notes.
Okay.
Sorry for being the boob, the troll, the bell end, the great owl, the gamer, and the veteran. Hoot hoot. Happy New Year. So there you
Okay.
go.
Well, thank you very much, Jason. We always appreciate you being in touch. I wish I could say something about it. I don't really know what to say. I have heard good things about The Substance. We've been watching Cien Años de Soledad, 100 Years of Solitude, 10-part, 8-part miniseries on Netflix. It's good. It's in Spanish, so I have to stare at the screen the whole time. Hard to eat dinner while watching a subtitled film, you know? But yeah, it's good. We're enjoying it.
Well, thank you, Jason, for the. there
Jason,
isn't another one, actually. It was just a silly thing that he sent, so
Yes.
that's fine. So thank you for that. Okay, Steve Pemberton is the next email, and he says, this came, by the way, this was on the 2nd of January, so all these are quite old now, so I do
Okay.
apologize because we didn't read them out last week.
That's all right. You're allowed to take a week off.
Hi, guys. I hope you all have a
Hi.
good Christmas and New Year.
Yeah.
What did you do for New Year? Well, I mixed. That's what I did for New Year.
That's what Stu did.
That's what I
We
did.
went to a friend's house. It was only a few people there, so we just chilled, and then we made it till 11 or 10, I guess, and then we came home, and then I was like, whatever. There's a great quote. I actually have it up in my classroom right now. Youth is when you get to stay up till midnight on New Year's. Middle age is when you're forced to.
There you go.
I like that. I like that.
I like that. Seeing as I'm getting known now for mentioning Jacinta every email, I hope you and Elliot had a great Christmas. So there you go. He's wishing Jacinta and Elliot a great Christmas. Don't worry, as Duke said, I think I will leave you to it now.
There you
My
go.
charms can only spread so far. And you're quite right, Jacinta. Women are much sexier than men, but if you ever change your mind, I don't think I will get a girlfriend until at least 90, so I'm always here anyway.
Not with that attitude. You got to believe in yourself,
No,
man.
You gotta do it. Yeah, you gotta go.
Go get him.
What are your hopes for the new year, guys? Gaming predictions or personal lives? So what's your? I mean, I know
Well,
we're well into it now.
I
10
would
days.
love to see that new
Okay.
game from the No Man's Sky people come out, Light No Fire, whatever it's called. Oh, that looks so good. I would love to have that to play.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to and again, I can't remember what it's called now. The one from the guy who made It Takes Two and all that kind of stuff.
Split Fiction, I think it's called.
Yeah, Split
Oh,
Fiction. there you
yeah,
go.
that does look interesting.
That's what I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
So
too.
y'all try to get the
And
Duchess
for me,
to play that?
For me, it's tech. I'm really looking forward to seeing handheld tech evolve. So CES was recently, just recently happened, and Steam OS is now coming to a different handheld that's not a Steam Deck.
Yeah,
So
it
I'm
is.
curious to see, yeah, to a Lenovo
What?
handheld.
Is it going to be like a watch?
No. So Steam OS is in like the operating system on a Steam Deck is going to be on something else that's not a Steam Deck for the first time natively.
Oh, so like another device, like sort of a Steam Deck clone then.
Yeah, by Lenovo. So
Okay,
so
gotcha.
Because I bought the Steam Deck over the anything else like an ROG Ally recently because of one thing, and that's Windows. Windows
Okay.
is not very good for going to sleep.
Yeah, and it's
sitting up.
really intensive on the operating system, isn't it? On the
Gotcha.
like the processor, etc.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But yeah, for me, it's the increases in like handheld power, because I find PC and console gaming is kind of stagnating in terms of innovation and how like fun it is to follow. But handheld tech, we're kind of going through that period again of going from PS2 quality to PS3 quality to PS4 quality in the handheld. So
Interesting.
It's kind of impressive.
Yeah,
Kind of
cool.
impressive. Yeah, personal goals. I think I talked about these last week, but I can't remember. I've slept since then. So one of my New Year's resolutions is the same as every other year, which is to try to mix vinyl. I keep trying every year. I just don't do it enough. Just need to do more. Just need to do it more. So mixing vinyl, which is practice, 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 and keep on practicing till I can actually beat match in my head and stuff. And the other one is to lose a couple of stone in the first 6 months of the year. So the first half of this year, I'm aiming to lose 2 stones because I need to. And the weight's crept back on slightly. It's not terrible, but it has crept on a bit, So need to do that as well.
any gimmicks with that? No VR, no Connect. What's the gimmick this time?
In what respect? For losing weight?
Yes, indeed.
No,
Yeah,
no. I can't. Well, because of the
VR in the past.
Yeah, because of the heart thing, I can't really exercise as much as I'd like to, so I've got to avoid that, unfortunately. So lots of walking and eat less calories than I'm outputting, I guess, or taking in or burning, whatever. So yeah, eat less, do more, as much as I can.
Love
So
it.
yeah, and eat healthy. I'll eat less potato. I'm a big fan of spuds. Potatoes, pasta, rice, things I'm not supposed to eat as much of. I'm cutting down on all that sort of stuff as well.
Sophia Loren once said, "Everything you see, I owe to pasta," which I thought was a great line. So.
True.
My New Year's resolution this year is the same as my New Year's resolution last year. I'm going to finally stop using arbitrary markers of time as an impulse to change my life.
Okay, so me saying like lose 2 stones in 6 months is one of
Well,
those.
no, I just think the idea of, I mean, it's great to set goals and like try new things. My own experience with it is, maybe I'll stick with it for a couple of weeks and then I just give up on it. So I've stopped even trying to do that as a goal. I've just, when I set a goal, now I'm going to start working on it. So
yeah. And what about you, Antonio? Any
you, but sorry. But like people use it as like a natural reset, don't they? Because day one we start again.
Right.
Be a good dad. Trying to secure new work. So I'm a freelancer, but I want to try and secure more consistent work so that I can support everyone a bit better.
Sure.
And finish this damn house. Yeah.
No, houses are like the 4th bridge, man. You get to the end and then you start again at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never ending.
Well, good luck.
Okay. Next email this evening is off Kyle Stacey.
Kyle Stacey.
Continuum podcast.
Yeah, it's good.
And he says, games and movies. Happy New Year to you all.
Happy New Year to you too.
Why do you think in the past that most movies or TV series based off video games were or are a flop? With that said, what's your favorite, even if the fan base disagrees? Well, Kyle. You'll find the reason for that is because they were cheap cash-ins. They were like, this video game's popular. Why don't we make a TV show? But we don't want to spend a lot of money on that. So we
certainly don't want to hire good writers.
Yeah, we don't get good writers. We don't have good actors.
And most video games don't have great stories. Yeah. So if you're using a story from the game and you're using crappy, or not crappy even, like C-list actors and a director who's, competent but not great, like you're going to get a mediocre product.
And the other issue was that most of the video games in the past that they were based on just didn't have really good stories. They were just pretty shit. Right. They were popular as video games, but they weren't really
because there's more to a video game than just the story and what's going on the screen. It's the gameplay. So that's hard. That's actually hard to transition to. And that's why I think The Last of Us is probably the best so far.
Yeah, I think the best movie is the Mario and Luigi movie, the Mario movie.
Probably. That's probably true.
It was really, really good. Really enjoyed that.
It's true. I think all you said is true, but it's also a lack of respect for video games. So like I was in the film world for a bit before I dipped out because it's a harsh industry to get into and survive in. There was such a disrespect towards video games.
Yeah.
It's like I'd mentioned video games at film school, for example, or some of the film crews I work with, and they would just be brushed aside. Like it's not proper art, not real art.
Oh, video
but only because now gaming is kind of pushed beyond that, and hell, it's
Yeah.
making more money than films
Right,
and music
right,
put
right.
together. That it's starting to be respected, but also as someone who's very interested in bad media, there was such, like I said, such a lack of respect for it, is that anyone was hired and no one played the actual games to get the point.
Yeah.
Like even recently, for example, Yakuza got a TV show adaptation,
Interesting.
but the cast and crew were told not to play the games.
What?
It's not very good, actually. I watched a bit of it and I couldn't get into it.
I personally didn't either. Like some things I did enjoy, but yeah, it really missed the mark.
Yeah,
Sure,
it
it's
did.
for another audience that's not the players. That's fine, but I think it just kind of missed the mark entirely.
I think
because-
even if just a Yakuza TV show, it wasn't very good either. You know, regardless of its source material.
Mhm.
It wasn't very good. But then we've had the Fallout TV show was pretty good.
Fallout was pretty good. I agree.
The Last of Us was pretty good.
The Last of Us was very good.
You know,
Because The Last of
like
Us
we say, the
stuck
Mario
pretty
film.
closely to the source material, and it's a great story. So that's rare in the world of gaming. But I think we're going to get more of those. And let's not forget. Look, somebody asked the science fiction writer Lester Del Rey, "How can you like science fiction? 90% of it is garbage." And he said, "Well, 90% of everything is garbage." So we think about movies based on books as being amazing in general, but they're not. They're 90% of them are probably crap. I know. I remember
that's true.
seeing Mary Shelley's Frankenstein with Robert De Niro. I was vomiting for days after that shit, man. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Fucking electrocuting each other. And how do you feel? Alive. No. Fucking get out of here with that shit. This is Powder 2, the shithead reckoning. Anyway.
One of mine that a lot of people didn't like, but I thought was all right, actually, was the Resident Evil movie with Mila Djokovic. I quite like that.
I like her. She's
saw
got
the
skills
first
as an
one.
actor.
I kind of liked it. It was all right. Okay. There is more to his email. He says, flipping the question, traditionally games based off movies also had a bad rap for poor execution. Same reason. The same reason no one cares. They were just like, oh, let's cash in, make a cheap video game. It doesn't cost us a
Here
lot
I
of
feel like it's
money.
more uneven because I can think of a
studio.
number of good. I forgot to mention I got MAME up and working again. I was watching King of Kong for like the 50th time, and I was like, I should get MAME working again. For those who don't know, MAME is the way to do old classic arcade games as an emulator, and it's crazy because at this point, I don't know if you've used MAME lately, Antonio, but
Nope.
have you? It's like you gotta there's 100 different ROMs for whatever game you're looking for, and most of them don't work, but you just keep going until you find one that does. It's crazy because they're all illegal. Like you're not really supposed to be using them. But
No, so you
how
can't
else-
complain.
I know, yeah, but it's like they keep updating the main software, which makes the old ROMs not work, and I guess there's a reason for it, but I'm just like, come on, y'all. Anyway, I got RoboCop working, the classic arcade game RoboCop.
right.
Oh man, I know I've talked about this before, but I remember one day I beat that on in the arcade on 1/4, and it was one of the proudest gaming days of my life. So it's just I have fondness for that. That's a really good video game. So, but it's rare. There's a lot of.
But
them.
again, not all video games are bad, that are made
Well,
from
no,
movies.
Exactly. Right. There's some good ones out there.
You know,
I'm trying to think of the
well,
other ones.
Quantum of Solace.
Oh, mwah.
Oh, you see?
But
you
yeah,
see?
good call.
Good shooter recently based on RoboCop.
Yeah, RoboCop was pretty good.
Almar would hate me if I didn't talk about the new one because he's really loving it. I played the demo. I was like, it's all right.
I've got it. I bought it. I've got it installed on my Steam Deck. Just haven't
Why
played
haven't
it
you
yet.
Played it, man.
Oh, because I've got other stuff to play. Got other stuff
That's
to
always
play.
your excuse.
What else is a good movie
Shout out
too?
to, The Thing. So I'm seeing my Xbox copy over there.
Yeah,
I
The
got
Thing.
remastered
That's
recently.
been remastered, hasn't it, recently?
Hey, dude.
It's been reduded. I did think about that. That's not really his book, but the Lord of the Rings games are pretty good. They were pretty good, but that's more often.
Some of them are. I mean, they're hit and miss. There's some shit ones. There's some good ones.
What else is it? There was some that I thought of, and I was like, oh, that was actually pretty good.
I mean,
Can't
Indiana
remember
Jones,
what
I guess, is now on the
Indiana
list.
Jones. There you go. That's
The
although it's not
Wolverine's game. The
really-
Wolverine game was good. I'm looking at
The
this thing.
Wolverine game was good.
Den of Geek is Scarface. You know what? I had fun with the Scarface game. Did you ever play the GTA ripoff?
Yeah, I played it on the Wii. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like a what
That's
if.
cute. My favorite thing about it is that I don't know if it was him or someone who just sounds like him, but like
It was something like
if you if you crashed into somebody while you're driving, he goes, "Oh, you better have insurance, life insurance," and just stupid lines like that just made it pretty fun. I don't know.
Friday the 13th, the asymmetrical killer game, that was meant to be pretty good.
Yeah,
A lot of people seem to like that.
It was fine. It was one of those games where you kind of made the fun yourself,
Yeah.
but the bugs were good.
Well, yeah.
Mad Max, that's a
these-
pretty good one.
Mad Max, that was the one I
was
was
good.
trying to think of. Mad
Yeah.
Max. Everyone loved the Mad Max game.
Yeah.
So there
Ghostbusters,
has
the video
been-
game.
But most of the time, they don't put the effort in. They just want to get as much money. Obviously, Hogwarts Legacy was really good, or that's, again, more based off a book than a movie, I suppose.
Yeah.
But it was a
I didn't
movie.
even know they made a Blade Runner video game.
Oh, yeah, they will have done. They made most popular films get made into video games, if it's sci-fi especially, don't
The
they?
Warriors was a pretty good game. That was like a Rockstar game.
Rockstar as well.
Yeah.
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 So it does happen.
Yeah.
It does
Yeah.
happen.
Star Wars. I mean, there've been some good Star Wars games, but again, it's a mixed bag, man.
It is a mixed bag.
It's so
It
funny.
is
You
a
know, it's
mixed bag.
pathetic. I was looking at this website and it's going through all the, up to Elite 25 to number 1 best video games based on movies. And it gets to the 007 logo. And I'm like, they're going to talk about Quantum of Solace. Of course, they're not talking about Quantum of Solace. It's fucking GoldenEye. Stupid
Of
dude.
course they're not. Anyway, he does say, looking forward to responses. All the best.
Well, you just
continuous-
heard him.
Oh, you just had him.
Yeah, thank you, Kyle.
Okay, we have a next. Oh my god, this is a big email. Get
Oh,
strapping,
boy.
people.
There we go.
So
Strapped.
this is from Alex Green, and he says, "My weird Balatro story. It's not what
Okay.
you think.
Oh,
What do you think?
I think it ended up with him naked on the turnpike.
Well, let's see."
Let's see if it's what I think.
He says, "Hello, veterans. This is a story. I will hold up my hands and say I'm not the best storyteller in the world, but I've tried my best to keep it engaging.
Okay.
Sorry for the formatting and spelling mistakes. I really hope all of this makes sense. So,
All right.
after hearing so much about Balatro and it being everyone's game of the year, I bought it for Christmas present to myself. I played it for about 3 days and can't play it anymore. Around the 30th of December, I woke up to the following email and was umming and ahhing about sending it in. Here is the following. Hello, veterans. I finally got around to playing Balatro, and from the music, all I can hear is Simply Red's Fall from the Stars.
I don't know that song, so I'll sing Red Red Wine instead. That was UB40,
Yeah.
but I'll pretend like it was.
That's not
I don't
even
know.
Simply Red.
What's Simply Red? What did they do? I don't know any Simply Red songs.
Fall from the stars straight into
I don't know
your
that one. Sing a
arms,
different Simply
and
Red song.
Something got me started. Da, 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 da. You must have heard that.
I don't
Fergram.
know.
Anyway.
Holding back the years.
Yeah, holding back the
Yeah,
ears.
that's- see, I
holding
know that
back
song.
the
I don't
years.
remember anything else from the
Do,
song.
do, do.
Yeah.
I thought you'd have heard something got me started.
Sorry.
Anyway, I've
Oh,
not
did they
heard
do
that.
If You Don't Know Me By Now? Was that them?
Yes, they did that as
If
well. Yeah.
you don't
Yeah, they did.
know- Oh, we're gonna get a copyright strike. My singing is that good.
Why? Why the hell are you singing all the ballads, man? They did some.
Because I
up-tempo
did a
stuff
search
as well.
for Simply Red songs, and that's what came up.
Anyway, I've not heard that song in years. That is all I hear when playing Balatro. It must have this similar sort of beat to it or something. You know, I've not noticed it. I'll play Balatro again and check if it's true. Check if
Yeah.
it's true. With Stu being the music man, can you hear this? I've not played Balatro for ages, but on you saying that, I'm going to do it now and see if I can. See if I can.
Okay.
Can anyone else out there hear this, or is it just me going crazy? Don't know. End of email. I thought it must just be me. However, I was listening to the IGN UK podcast on episode 780. One of the hosts said he could hear another song in the music of Balatro. And that was after one of the hosts said that song that they listened to reminded them of a piece of video game music. I was astounded that other people hear music from other pieces of music. Well, it happens because, let's be honest, right? I'm just going to tell you something. Come closer to the
Go-
speaker.
I'm listening. Yes,
Alex.
go on. Oh,
I'm going to give you a bit of information
All right.
that
Yes.
most songs and most music's made up of 3 chords. So you're going to probably hear similarities between a lot of songs. It's kind of just the way music's structured. But they do play other chords.
Also,
but a lot.
there's nothing new under the sun, so
No, everyone's copying
Yeah, everyone's
everyone, even though
copying
they
everyone,
all
yeah,
say.
exactly.
And that's why people keep taking people to court for plagiarism.
Yep.
So anyway, I then went into email on their show on the 2nd of January, the same day I listened to it, which I doubt will ever be read out. I have email messages into other podcasts and my things haven't been read out before, which is upsetting, but you just get over it. And that email was as follows. Hello. I just finished listening to your podcast and had to email. Like, this is like Groundhog
Jeez,
Day.
This is like Inception within the
It
emails.
is.
Like an
It's
email.
an email within an email within an email.
Yeah, I'm going backwards on a van. Whoa, we're going over a bridge.
So this one's the IGN UK podcast. He said, just finished listening to your podcast and I had to email in. On the 2024 Alternative Game Awards, Jen was talking about Jessie J music, and how it reminded her of a song from Sonic Adventure. Then Matt went on to say that the Balatro music reminded him of another song, Smooth from Santana. Smooth from Santana, I quite like that song. I ended up buying Balatro for a Christmas present to myself to see what all the fuss was about. And after about 20 minutes of it, all I could hear was the song Stars by Simply Red. I've not heard that song in years. That is all I hear now when I'm playing Balatro. It must have a similar sort of beat or something. I thought it was strange to hear the other people can link video game music to actual songs. Anyway, that was my story. Thank you for reading, Alex. So there you go. Well, we've read it out, even if the
yeah,
IGN
we're
UK
the best podcast as a
people
result. Yeah.
just couldn't be arsed, right?
That's
They were
right.
like, fuck you, Alex. We don't give a shit what you're saying. We
Yeah.
ain't doing that. We ain't doing it. Talking of Alex, he did send us another email in fact, 2 more emails. So let's
Oh
do
my
those
goodness,
as
we're
well.
just
We can
drowning
read
in
all these
Alex
emails.
mails. It's A-mails because Alex.
So this is another preferences emails. These are
Okay.
2 of those. So the first one with these was hello veterans.
Hello.
Sounded like you had some fun with these. So here are some more. In fact, I think there's only one, so that's kind of good.
Okay.
Okay, what are you? Here we go. Would you rather have cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs.
Dogs. Any reasons that you prefer dogs over cats?
Because they'll do what you tell them to do. Cats are like, fuck you, I'm going over here. And dogs are like, I want to make you happy. I love the bumper sticker says, Lord, let me be the person my dog thinks I am.
Okay, Antonio, any reason for a dog over a cat?
I just find them much more of a companion, personally.
True.
I find like
True.
they are more of a friend and they are more a part of your house.
You know,
They're
the
part of
Duchess has barn cats now. There's 2 of them that hang out in our barn. And like the fact that one of them will come over and cuddle with her now is such an achievement. And so I think maybe cats are the Dark Souls of pets. You know what I mean? Like, because there's so much work involved that and it's such a rare thing for them to show affection that when they do, it means something. I don't know.
I guess.
Just a theory.
I guess. I remember, I've got a little story actually about a cat.
I'll go on.
I took our dog to the vet. This is going back years ago, and I lived in a little village in the middle of nowhere, lots of farms in the area. And I was sat in the waiting room, and this farmer came in with a cat with its leg bent at a funny angle. And he walked up to the counter and he said to the girl at the counter, "Hiya there, I brought me cat in." And so she looked at the guy and looked at the cat, and she said, "All right, what's its name?" He went, "Name? It don't have a name. It's a yard cat. Don't have a name." And she was like, "All right." He said, "Well, I'll be honest, I've only brought it, love, because it's my best ratter. So if it hadn't been catching rats, it wouldn't be here, love. I'd have chucked it into the dike."
Oh my goodness.
And I was just like, "Oh my God." And,
Wow.
and her face was just like, "Okay, then take a seat and the vet will see you."
Yeah.
It was just priceless, absolutely priceless.
Yeah.
But that were farmers for you. That's farmers.
I guess so.
So yeah, I don't like cats because my auntie's cat was horrible. It was a horrible thing. It was a big furry fucking thing with big long black and white hair, and it was horrible. And it used to come and jump on your lap like it was being affectionate, and within 2 seconds, its claws were in your legs. You know, it would literally sit there and it would slowly put its claws into you.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, "Get off!" And the horrible thing. And he used to bring like birds into the house and stuff. And it would wing them. It would break the wings so they couldn't get away and stuff, and break the legs, and they'd still be alive. And it'd be like messing around with me. I'm just like, "Get off that bloody bird!" But it was too late. I mean, the bird was completely fucking screwed.
Sorry,
horrible.
bird.
People correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear that's the cat trying to give you a gift.
Yeah, it is. It's horrible. Who wants that? A bird with broken wings and legs. Nobody wants that.
Yeah.
All I can say to people is adopt, don't shop. Thank you.
Yeah, I hate cats. Anyway, moving on. Next one is Cadbury's or Galaxy. Cadbury's or Galaxy.
Galaxy, if I had to pick one. I don't buy either because they're on the no buy list right now. But if I had to pick
Yeah.
one, Galaxy.
Yeah, I prefer Galaxy as well, I think.
I don't think I've had Galaxy, so I'll go with Cadbury because that's the only one I've had.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I'm not that big. You know, everyone of these people, "Oh, I could never live without chocolate." Or like, "Oh,
Yeah,
chocolate."
that's right.
I don't get it. I'm just like, I'll eat
love
it. If someone
chocolate.
gave me some, I would eat it. But I'm not like, I could live the rest of my life and never eat another bit of chocolate. And I
Oh
wouldn't be bothered.
God. I want some chocolate now.
Yeah, I'm not bothered. Okay, next one. Battlefield or Call of Duty? Battlefield or Call of Duty?
Call of Duty for me because I have such a love for the zombies mode.
You know, it's funny. I've been playing Call of Duty Black Ops 6 a lot, and I have Battlefield 2025, and I don't hate it the way most people hate it. I actually like. It's so hard, man. I don't know. I can't decide. Battlefield, and the reason is if I have a shit round in Call of Duty, I have a shit round. Like I just get killed a lot. It's very frustrating. If I have a shit round in Battlefield, but I get a flag, that one flag, it's worth the 20 deaths. You know what I mean? Like I've helped the team in some way. So.
Okay, neither for me. I don't give a shit about either of those things. So.
Pentiment, please.
Neither.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Books or films? Books or films?
I'm supposed to say books, but I tend to watch films because they're easier to ingest. But the books are always better than the films,
books every day of the week. Books are. I just wish I had more time to read. I could make more time to read, but I just choose not to.
Couldn't we?
I just listen to books in the car.
Yeah.
So I do listen to a lot of books. So yeah, books for sure. And I think as well with books, there's a lot of books out there that I feel would be so difficult to make into a movie. It's far better as a book.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. And for you, Antonio, books or films?
It would be. I think it is films. I don't know why. I just do prefer a good film. I don't know why.
Fair enough. And I like this final one. I like this. I think this is going to be divisive. I was going to say decisive there, but divisive.
It might also be decisive.
It might be. Which is Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I have such a love for the Rocky films, so that ends it for me, sadly.
I like them, and I think I don't know anything about Sly's politics, but Arnold's politics, Republican.
Oh,
but he's a very but he's a very moderate politician. That said, I'm choosing Arnold because I just like his movies better. I think I like the Rocky movies.
On movies.
Fine. I like his movie. I like the Rocky movies, so I'm with you on that, Antonio. But like Total Recall, man, holy shit! Like that by itself is like, and Terminator. Like that's those series. I mean, there's two series compared to one with a Sly.
You see, two of the coolest films I remember watching as a teenager, or probably slightly younger than that, I guess, were obviously Terminator when that came out, and First Blood, which was really good as well. And I don't know, it's so tough. It's so tough because I have fond memories of both of their early films.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they've both done really good films, and they've both done stinkers. You know, that weren't very good either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who
it's
to
tough.
choose. It's a really tough choice.
Good arguments on both sides.
And I'm the decider, aren't I? Because obviously Antonio Sylvester, you're Arnold, so whoever I choose is a majority.
This is it, man. It all comes down to you, Stu.
This is it. It all comes down to me. I'm going to go Sylvester Stallone for one reason only.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
That he's won an Oscar. He's won Oscars. So from a quality perspective, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go Sylvester Stallone. I'm with you, Antonio. Bit of Sly.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Thank you for that, Alex. And I don't think, I'm just checking this, but I don't think there's any more on this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So there you go. Thank you very much for that. Right, we have got two speaker pipes.
That's right. And they're both from the same person.
Speak pipe. It's the way to leave a message for us.
Okay, the first one is from Saint Diesel. The second one is also from Saint Diesel. Yeah, this one is called Return, Replay, Regard. So let's have a listen.
Hey, Veteran Gamers, it's Saint Diesel back again.
Hey.
It's 2025, and well, I thought I'd start off the year with a nice, easy question for you, and this time to do with video games, would you believe? Over the Christmas, New Year holiday, I've been deep diving back into the game Divinity Original Sin 2, which is the game before Baldur's Gate 3 that Larian Studios put out. And I have had it for a few years. Originally, I started it on the PS4. And I'll be honest, I found it a bit dense and a bit complicated. It's to do with wizards and elves and shit. But I got back into it over this holiday, and I'm really getting into it in pretty granular ways. Lots of upgrading, different armors, different spells, different characters. And I can see it's going to be one of those 100+ hour games if you really get into it. I don't know how much longer I'll be playing it, but I'm enjoying it at the moment. So my question for you, is there a game, let's just say in the last couple of years, that you originally started or just didn't play, but you've really gotten into in the last couple of years, and you thought, why didn't I get into this originally? It's really good. You know the sort of thing I'm talking about. So I'll just leave it at that and just wish you and all your listeners a happy 2025.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've got one of those. I've got one of those straight away, and I mentioned it on this show already because I actually played Pentiment probably when it very first came out or when it first came to Game Pass.
Yeah.
And didn't really, I was like, it's all right. But then I was like, I just completely forgot about it until Jason started banging on about it constantly.
Thank God Jason's here for us.
I know. So I thought, you know what? I'll give it a proper shake because I didn't really give it much of a play. I probably played it for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes tops. And I was like, yeah, it's pretty cool. I like the art style. I like how it works and everything. But I never really got into it. And then when I obviously played it the second time, I was totally into it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Jason badgering me constantly, or badgering us, should I say.
There you go,
Jason.
Jason.
Because you two didn't take any notice, but I did.
I played it a little bit. I wasn't blown away. Yeah.
No, but you did a similar thing.
I wasn't aware of it when it first came out. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you didn't play it for very long.
Antonio, did you have a game like this recently?
It would have been. Well, it's not recent. It would have been 4 years ago at this point, but close enough, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Crash Bandicoot 2 and 3, like with all my soul on the PS1. I played the remakes or Insane Trilogy when it dropped. I bought it day one. I was like, I do not like this. I'm pushing it away. And I came back to it, I think, in 2021, I think. And I platinumed Crash 2 and 3 and did it like twice. Do
you know, we played for Play My Game Bitch, and I didn't like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just not impressed at all.
I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I found it very old. It felt just really old. Even though it wasn't, but it just felt old. So not for me.
I can respect that fully.
Yeah.
And of course, Minecraft is my standard answer. I just didn't get the point when I first played it, but now I'm just in love with it. So
I'm Rocket League to an extent.
Well, I didn't know how to double jump, so I was like, this game sucks.
Was it.
Yeah.
Double
no, I also just it felt like okay. And then I don't know what happened, but
would No Man's Sky not come under that category as well?
I suppose. But I think with No Man's Sky, they needed to add stuff to it, and so when they did, it became more worth playing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So
did they? Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Okay, second speed pipe.
Second speed pipe. This is also from St. Diesel. It's called Hit for GTA 6.
Hey, different gamers. It's St. Diesel back again. I've been listening to a lot of video game podcasts this week where they've talked about their favorite games of 2024 and their games coming up in 2025.
Well, that's what we're going to do next week.
Yeah, next week we're doing that.
Yeah. And the one game that gets mentioned in all of them is GTA 6.
Of course.
I don't think an official date's been given for release yet.
Nope.
But I did check on the sales figures for GTA 5. And the latest ones I found as of the end of last year were at least 205 million copies sold. So it's pretty impressive.
Is that
by
all?
anyone's standards. But the contention was that if a date is given for release for GTA 6, let's just say, for example, 15th of November 2025, no other video games should be getting released around that date because of that. But my contention today, especially if you're a smaller or indie company, is that if you're producing a game that's not similar to GTA 6, you should release on the same day. So, for example, 15th of November. And the reason I say that is that it would garner a lot of publicity for you. People will be saying, they're crazy for releasing on the same day as GTA 6, all the rest of it. In effect, a video game version of a double bluff. But I was just wondering what your opinions on that were. Would it be crazy to release on the same day as GTA 6, regardless of what game you are? Or do you think that might be a good idea? I'd be interested in your thoughts. So until next week.
So I think you're right. You would get a little bump of awareness when you first make the announcement that you're going to come out the same date as GTA. But on the actual day of release, you're just going to get buried. Like the only thing people are going to report on is going to be GTA.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, I think everybody 2 weeks after GTA should avoid anywhere. I mean, even maybe 3. Maybe 3.
Because there are some movies that can
yeah.
come out. You know, you have Barbieheimer, right? Oppenheimer and Barbie that came out at the same time. That's a different situation because they are both of equal stature. You know what I mean? If Elder Scrolls 6 came out at the same time as GTA 6,
audiences,
right? So Elder Scrolls 6 and GTA 6 would not. They're not too different, but I think they could both come out at the same time and survive. But I
don't know because of the issue. Video game is a video game, and we all like different video games on the whole. I mean, we know that from this show.
Maybe that's not a good example, but like a Mario
GTA
game.
6 is universally liked by nearly all. Like GTA is like all video games.
That's true.
Isn't it,
that's true.
much?
I don't think the market's diverse enough yet to maybe have a Barbieheimer for video games.
No, I don't think it is.
And certainly not with GTA. So whatever.
No.
I could ever think of is when Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing came out on the same day, and the internet kept making memes about them two being together. That's probably the closest we've ever got to that. In my opinion, especially as working in gaming marketing for a bit, that would be suicide.
Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing are two completely different platforms.
Well, yeah, I think that's his point.
It's not even just, the fact that they're different games. They are hitting completely different audiences.
Yeah, sure.
So that's fine. But yeah, I reckon a Mario Kart or a new Mario game would get away with it because obviously, again, it's a completely different platform.
Yeah.
And different audience, different demographic. So yeah, you could get away with a Mario releasing at the same time as GTA 6, but everyone else, forget about it.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
What if they suddenly announced Portal 3 and it came out the day they announced it? And it was that day that GTA came out.
I don't know.
Your general public wouldn't really.
Yeah,
no, they wouldn't. No, they wouldn't.
It would be a cultural touchdown.
1,000 people on Reddit would be like, "Oh my god!" Everyone else would be like, "What?"
Even Half-Life 3, I don't think would get away with it. Not even Half-Life 3.
Fair enough.
Right, okie dokie, that is it. So we need to do some shout outs and get the hell out of
It's time for a shout out. Hey!
I'm going to shout out Jason to begin with, because as much as we harass him and as much as we call him out, he did send me Piranesi as a gift on Audible.
That's very nice.
And I finished it. I finished Piranesi.
Yeah.
And it's pretty good. It's a weird book. It's a very strange book. I don't know what it's saying. I don't know where it's set or what the hell is going on a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I like its ideas. It's very metaphorical. Is that the word for it?
Yeah,
It's an interesting story, which I kind of enjoyed.
Cool.
So thank you very much for sending that to me.
Yeah. Antonio,
that's it.
You're next.
Yeah. And obviously Antonio for filling in.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on and having a good chat. Always love doing this. Only person I can really think of is my partner. I'm going to go and hug her after this and say we'll be all right because we're going through a lot right now of not just this, but in our personal lives as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
Just to say it'll be okay.
I like that. I like that. Duke. And obviously, Chinny, hope you're feeling better soon.
Yeah, feel better. I'll shout out Amar because I'm always shouting out Amar. Shout out the Duchess and Chinny, feel better. Stu for hosting the show. And everybody listening, I should shout out the people in the chat, including Mr. Nightlore, GHAMV, whoever that is. SLH popped in, Ian, Soul Brother #1, and everybody on Twitch that I'm not looking at in terms of who's in the chat. And I know Chinny does a much better job of running the stream than me, but whatever.
It was fine.
It was fine. I kept trying different things because the speaker mode wasn't working well, and I don't know what Chinny does to make it work. So
you've done well tonight. I doubt we've got a copyright strike from this week's show.
I don't think we did. I just kept it to the video clips. See,
because
I'm not trying to be creative.
Unless, as you pointed out, our singing was that good.
It was so good. Holding back the years. All right. Is that it? We done?
Fall from the stars, straight into
show's
your
over. No refunds. You heard the robot. Get out.
Won't you? Won't you? Won't you? Why don't you just switch off the television set and go and do something less boring instead? Sitting at home, watch TV, turn it up, smoke good to me.
Are y'all subscribed to the Reddits for where you live?
No, I never do Reddit at all, really.
Yeah.
I do check in sometimes out of curiosity, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just looking at one. It's like, this restaurant is closing, and I'm like, I've never heard of that restaurant. I mean, we haven't been in the city for a few years now, but still, I'm just like, oh man, I don't know anything going on in this town. So,
Yeah.
It's just weird.
That's what happens. You get out of touch when you live in the country on a farm.
Guess so. But I was
Yes,
never really
sir.
that much in touch when we lived in the town anyway, so.
You're out of touch. You're
I'm
out of touch.
time.
Yeah.
I'm out of my head when you're
No,
not
out of
around.
touch. There's a song called Out of Touch.
Yeah, it's the Hall & Oates song.
Yeah, well, you were singing Out of Time. What are you singing?
Because the lyrics are, you're out of touch, I'm out of time.
Out of time.
but
Oh,
I'm
yeah, I
out
get
of
you.
my head when you're not around.
Around.
Don't
There
come
you
at me
go.
for Hall & Oates, man. I know my
Oh,
Hall &
you were
Oates.
right. You're right. You're right.
She's a
I'll take it back.
man-eater.
I only heard the Out of Time bit.
I don't know the lyrics.
I didn't know he was a Hall & Oates fan. Who did?
I used to be really into Hall
And
& Oates.
you're a secret Swiftie as well, as we know.
Oh, not so secret, but you know.
Well, yeah, you're a
the funny-
out Swiftie.
Yeah, exactly. The funniest thing about music that I've seen lately is I don't remember what started it, but there was something on it was either Twitter or Blue Sky or one of them things, and some person said, "All right, fellow African American users, like who's the funkiest musician funkiest white musician that you love?" And every response was Phil Collins, Phil Collins, Phil Collins, Phil Collins. I was like, damn, these people love some Phil Collins. And I'm like, Phil Collins is all right. I don't hate Phil Collins, but I never would have thought he'd be like the paragon of like, oh, we love Phil Collins. So
I've got an album, by the way, for you to listen to. I think you'll like it.
Go on.
It's called it's Jamie XX's second album. I don't know whether I've mentioned this already.
Jamie XX.
And it's called In Waves.
In Waves. Okay.
Yeah, I love it.
I
It's
think a
such a good album.
student recommended this to me.
So good.
It's the
So
gray
good.
thing with the little white thing on it. as
Yeah,
the
it's like
cover?
it's like
Okay.
an optical effect on the cover.
Okay,
It's
okay.
like
I
wavy
gotcha.
wavy grey lines.
I got you. All right. Yeah,
Give
I'll check it
give
out.
it a go. Give it a go. Let me know what you
Okay.
think. It's
All
pretty
right.
good. It's obviously dancey, but it's kind of interesting.
You had me at Dancy. Yeah, I tell you about. I watched the Charlie XCX whatever DJ
okay.
set. Did you see her DJ set?
I didn't know.
It's interesting. Like she's okay. She's starts off with obviously her song, and everyone's like, "Oh my god!" And then like there's some other people spinning, and then at the end there's this dude. The whole time there are like 4 DJs. It's like an hour and a half set, and all the other DJs. He's just standing there, and he's in a suit, and he's just like nodding. And then he gets on the decks, and he fucking kills it. He's like the coolest DJ. He plays the best set list. And when he gets on the decks, Charlie's like, "Ooh, now we got a sexy man in a suit. All right." And it's just like, did you not see him standing right next to you?
I'm
for the
guessing he
last
was
hour?
probably a famous DJ.
I
probably.
guess, but I never heard of him. So anyway, I thought that was very funny. But it's worth a listen.
I'll
if
have a
people
look.
Go,
I'll have a
go
look.
for Charlie XCX DJ set.
I recommend
Okey-doke.
Lupe Fiasco's albums, Samurai. There you go. Since we're talking about music, that was my favorite album of last year.
And what's
Who's
that?
it
Sorry,
by?
say again.
Lupe Fiasco.
Oh, I didn't know he had a new one out. Nice.
Yeah, last year.
He's great.
Samurai.
Okay.
When I get my home gym built, I want a big wall scroll. The cover art is really good.
Nice. He's
Quite-
got good
quite
cover art, man.
relaxing rap. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
quite
got
a relaxing
skills.
rap album.
Cool.
Right,
All right,
guys,
good
I've
to
got to
know.
go. I'm up in
Yeah.
the morning.
That ends this
thank
episode.
you.
Thank
Yeah,
you all.
thanks, Antonio.
Let Chinny know he can turn off the stream, I guess.
Well, he'll do it.
Or
I
it'll
think he'll
just
just come
turn
and
it
look.
off. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he'll
Okay.
just come and turn it off when he comes to bed.
Have a good week. Peace out.
Yeah, same. Thank you. Thanks all. See you
Yeah.
later. Bye.
Big love.
Bye bye.